Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember, designed with black people in mind. Right on. Definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good News, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear, realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. Right. What good news for the sheep might be bad news for the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saving 52 blacks.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming from now. The coons are coming.
Head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is a danger of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of each. This is the 6th version.
5, 1, 2, 3, 2 possible explanations.
As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! You can't make me do anything like quit!
Choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own.
Thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Now, the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much. Closed tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my set. Stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and not to come there. Because today, the United States government going to get you.
Hey, assholes in the damn audience doing that DOS attack. I'm going to tear your ass off tonight. Don't worry about it. Welcome to the Mr. Blows Your Mind show. I'm on late. You see how it is. You see what it's doing. Why? Because that truth, boy, that truth tears the ass up, don't it? I know you're sitting your ass right up in here, but I don't get no fuck, because I'm going to let it go. Matter of fact, I'm going to start to show off with you. That's how I'm pissed off tonight about the bullshit y'all be doing. I always want to act like you, but I know y'all fragile, right? So anyway, what's good, y'all? You see what it is. You see where I'm starting at, right? Constantly just doing the stuff that they do. I'm not upset. I expected to do, but I'm going to present my case. I'm going to let it be known. I'm going to show you who you really is, right? So first and foremost, I'm going to say what's good to my subscribers out there. What's good? Passerbys, especially fuck the agents. You understand? Bomb ass motherfuckers, that's what you do. You sit around, you doing bullshit, but y'all supposed to be righteous and you good ass people. Y'all full of shit, that's all it is. So, what I'm going to do, matter of fact, since you already got me on that, right? That's where you got me at, right? You start the show, matter of fact, let me get my spiel out. Hello and welcome to the Black Minds News. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. This channel is to report, transmit, communicate, reiterate, decode, unveil, spread the news, whether by video, website, quotes from publications. As I, your Whiteologist, articulate these information, I ask that the creator of the universe be present. As a descendant of the greatest people who created the so-called greatest country on this planet, I give honor to them over here. Because you know why? The truth don't need no partner. You know what my motto is? I'm not going to tell you what I heard. I'm going to tell you what I know. Now, let's get into this. Because see, you know what's funny is, there's a segment of this society of people who have a guilt con. You know what Malcolm was talking about in the intro, that they so eloquently tore it up, make sure it doesn't play well. This technology today, ain't no reason for none of that, but they want you to make it look like it's on my end. I know where it's coming from, but I'm going to present my case. It's not about you doing what you doing, because I already got that all documented. I'm going to lay that all out. No matter what you do, I'm going to present who you is, right? So here it is, you have a little segment of people who are of melanin or DOS people of this nation. You know what they try to do? You know how people will sit there and try to say how this sector of the society is fucked up. They are problems. They are just, the riffraff of the nation. So you take that element of those people, they have some of the good in them, right? Let's take that, which you will say, the good of them. And what they try to do is they're trying to help them to straighten themselves up, to do certain things. But you know what? That ain't what these motherfuckers really want. That shit is just a figment of your motherfucking imagination. They smile in your face, but they really backstabbing you, right? They all play that game as if like, I'm not like that. Right. See, who y'all fooling when you're doing all that? You ain't fooling no damn body. See, that's you because of the insecurities, because of the guilt, like Malcolm said. It's the guilt that's in y'all ass that you hate when you see one of us come and we're sitting here going to tell that truth. It burns you. As that Bible that you gave to the slave said, that it's like putting a burning wreath on their head. Right? When you put that burning wreath, it's that truth burning that ass up. And guess what? What you do is you try to be antagonistic, or what you do is you scheme and you connive, right? That's your whole existence. That's what you do, because you don't face the truth, because the truth never been in you, right? Truth ain't never been in you. Well, let's start off. Let's start the show off. Yes, right. You got me on that side tonight, right? So, let's get it on. So, as I'm talking about, story came out today. Let me go ahead and present it. Right? Story about really just what it is and what you're about. Right? So let the story play for itself. Let's see if we can get the story off. Let's see if we can get the story to go off the way it's supposed to, without any more interference. Let's see what happens. Facebook is failing its black employees and a manager leaving the company. You know I'm going to say that again. Facebook is failing its black employees and users, says a manager leaving the company. This story was done November 27, 2018 from Quartz. And this is how it reads. Shortly before his last day as a Facebook employee, Mark Lucky, a manager focused on diversity in its partnership, sent out a company-wide memo about Facebook, Black People's Problem. In the 2,600-word note, Lucky, himself an African American, outlined how Facebook ignores and mistreats its black users and employees alike, and how its diversity initiatives are lacking. Lucky's full title at Facebook was Strategic Partner Manager for Global Influencers, focused on underrepresented voices. And he was at the company just over a year, according to his LinkedIn page. Lucky, who said he quit the company because he was burned out and frustrated, sent the note November 8th and posted it to his Facebook page November 27th. In some buildings, there are more Black Lives Matter posters than there are actual black people, he writes, adding that hiring employees focused on diversity is not enough. The company's culture needs to change in a more fundamental way. He outlines how black employees face discrimination in their day-to-day work. A few black employees have reported being specifically dissuaded by their managers from becoming active in the internal black hashtag group or doing black stuff, even if it happens outside of work hours. He wrote, adding that several times a day his Facebook coworkers instinctively grab their wallets if they happen to walk by him. Although he touts some of Facebook's diversity work, he says some of the efforts are under-resourced. For those hired for these initiatives, their work devolves into serving as an address book to add a few names of color to projects. He writes, efforts that promote inclusion, not just diversity, are being halted at the managerial level. Facebook reports its diversity numbers every year. The number of black and Hispanic employees this year increased from 2% to 4% and 4% to 5%, respectively, the company says. In an email, Anthony Harrison, a Facebook spokesperson, says the company is working diligently to include more diverse perspectives. We want to fully support all employees when there are issues reported and when there may be micro behaviors that add up. We are going to keep doing all we can to be a truly inclusive company, he said. The internal situation at Facebook mirrors how the company treats its black users, Lucky writes. Black communities are some of the most engaged on the platform, but this is not reflected in the company's outreach efforts. Their speech is suppressed, he says, pointing to examples of activists, accounts getting suspended, and there's also a more basic problem. When determining where to allocate resources, ranking data such as followers, greatest number of likes, and shares or yearly revenue are employed to scale features and products. The problem with this approach is Facebook teams are effectively giving more resources to the people who already have them. In doing so, Facebook is increasing the disparity of access between legacy individuals, brands, and minority communities. You can see this, for example, in the influencer and creators who appear in Explore tabs on Instagram or in those who are verified on Facebook's platform, he says. At the end of the memo, he enumerates his recommendations for general to specific, like creating a system for employees to anonymously report microaggressions and organize more focus groups with underrepresented communities. All right, so that's Facebook, right? Coming under scrutiny by a fellow employee who actually was a black man, a token in the company, right? And he's saying that Facebook is racist. Well, what other social outlets are doing the same shit? YouTube the same shit. Twitter the same shit. It's all social media the same type of bullshit. So when black people who got issues and that they want to sit and resolve, why is that you go all out your way? You go all out your way, but yet you'll say you're not this and we're not like that and we want diversity. That's a lot of bullshit. Who y'all be fooling? Who you think you fooling when y'all talk like that? Right? You look at this page I got here. Right? Let's look at this. I'm going to talk to YouTube now. Right? Here it is that I come on, for those who know this channel. Now, again, I'm not in it trying to do for what I do. I do it. Allow me to do what I do. You restricted because what? You don't like what I'm talking about. Well, again, according to the mantra or the Constitution that y'all claim you abide by, say I have the First Amendment speech. Now, if a picture of white boys can sit there and howl Hitler, and they can say that's First Amendment speech to Jews, then what is that I'm saying that you need to restrict me so that I can't be heard by other people who might want to hear what I got to say? Oh, you get to be the judge, jury, and God, right? That's how you see things, right? It's all about how you see, because you're the fragile one. We know that. I know that for particular. If anybody don't know it, I know that. So that's what you do. You go all out your way to try to prohibit, to make it appear when it's really you do what you do. You don't allocate the resources. You make sure that those, let's matter of fact, let's put it like this. Those people who you see with subscribership, that be hundreds of thousands, right? Take a show. Take any one of them shows that you watch, and that has a person of color whose channel that is. They can have 200,000 subscribers, but them videos won't get past 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. Why is that? Are they buying subscribers? It could be possible, or it could be organic. But the problem is they don't match. How is your subscriber this, and then your numbers of your video is something entirely lower? But if you get some PewDiePie and all that bullshit, they numbers stay and they get paid. As that article told you, that the brother that worked there said they reallocate those sources to them. Oh, they already got money, but they're going to make sure they keep getting money. But when we over here talking about what we talking about, you're not going to advertise. You're not going to allow this to be able to fester. Because why? What is it that we're saying that you're so afraid of? Black people done took so much from you to the fact that you act as if like we always after you, when that is the furthest thing from most black people's mind. So what is you afraid of? No, you afraid of the boogeyman in your own ass because, again, you already know when they get done with tonight, you're going to see, because the signal was already given. Whether you paid attention to it or not, the signal was given just the other day. Huh? Oh, yeah, you got me hot tonight. Because, see, that's the bullshit that y'all keep doing, but yet with a straight face like you're not doing things. As if we don't know no damn better. But anyway, so all of them social medias do the same slant when it comes to blacks having their little section talking about what they talk about, whether you like it or not. Don't you say freedom of speech? There is no agenda being made as to Again, how the boogeyman has always been the one that ain't doing shit to you. You doing to him or her. But when it comes to that, you always, your whole focus is because of your guilt of what you've done and what you continue to keep doing, and you keep acting like it don't exist when you know it do. So again, you only fooling yourself. See? But you getting to that point where the Creator about to step in and he about to handle this. You ain't got to worry about us. Don't you see the spirit been put on us that if there was any to be retaliated? Because see, the problem is when you look at yourself in the mirror, you said that what you was doing to other people, you knew you would lash out. That animal, that Neanderthal in that ass is going to come out. Right? The Neanderthal going to come out your ass. But we have another spirit that docile us. That keeps us no matter what the shit you keep doing. Because guess what? That's going to be taken care. We ain't got to do nothing. But you keep on doing it. And you keep on doing it. You don't know. It's like a puppy, a little child that don't know when to say when is enough. So you don't keep doing it. And just say, hey, whatever. Okay. It's on you. And I'm going to show you tonight that the signal was given to the planet that especially here didn't even hear it. Here did not hear the sound, the ring of the bell of the sound. They didn't hear it here, but everywhere else did. Okay. Right. We're going to get in tonight. You picked the right one tonight. So, moving on. Let me go here. Do I want to go there? Let me see if I want to go there. You know what I'm saying? This stuff that they just out here constantly doing. You doing all this nonsense. That like those people that you doing the most to aren't supposed to be trying to get themselves in a position to get away from you if you got problems with them. So if they talking in their little cluster, you want to know, what are you talking about? And if you're talking about what I don't like you to talk about, then I'm going to scrutinize it and I'm going to derail you and I'm going to do all this shit, right? Think about it. Anybody who listens here who are melanated, go to any channel that you see that black people are doing. See who their subscribers and look at the numbers. They don't match. How's that possible? How can somebody have 200,000 and yet can barely get 10 to 15,000 on their views? I'm not saying that they're supposed to get every 200,000 because people sometimes subscribe. You hear something good tonight, the next time you hear you may not like it. So you kind of hot and cold. You're lukewarm. You're not what you always will. But again, that's not even a percent. It ain't even 1% of the people that's supposed to be subscribing to you. Ain't nobody looking at none of that. The dude on Facebook just told you. He left because he said, man, that stuff is a lot of bullshit. It's racial. He said he worked in the company and he walked by and they holding their wallet like he's still, like he's some, right? Like they know about walking across in the hood, holding your wallet in your purse. That's all stereotypical. Most of you ain't never even been around no real none of us. But your stereotype on that shit in your mind about that bullshit y'all got about y'all. You always on that. Always. That's why look at what does my logo say? It's always been about race. Because that's all y'all know. You play the game. You try to act as if, but we know the core of who you are. So all you gotta do is look at them channels. You see the numbers don't match, and some of them just so happy the fact that they getting it, okay, but they not even looking at that you being restricted. My channel is slowly restricted. Look for the last 3-4 months that I've been going straight. You gonna tell me if you look on this at 2.9, I can't get past 100. Not even with my own subscribers, that people that might just go by, I can't get past 100. And I'm supposed to think that's just me. I done got 275. You stopped the 275,000 on a video that you stopped in this third year because you didn't like what was being said. Who gives you the right to say what's appropriate, inappropriate? If I ain't talking about killing no damn body, if I'm just presenting the damn facts, when do you get to say that I don't get to do it? How you get to say that? Because it's talking about you? Oh, you exempt, but everybody else, all the institutions that you get, you can put that shit on us and make us as fucked up as you want to be. But don't talk about your ass. You got a problem. You motherfuckers got a goddamn problem. But you doing all kind of shit. But you don't want nobody to say shit about it. Y'all crazy, man. Motherfuckers done lost y'all mind. But don't worry about nobody like me because the sound done already came. You ain't got much time left. Moving on. You ain't got much time. Y'all bullshitting with each other. You keep playing that game, trying to act as if what you're not, and it's just always gonna be seen. Oh yeah? George Bush dead? Okay. Is that junior or senior? Is it junior or senior? Huh? Let's see. Hold on. I'm looking at. Oh yeah. Oh, light. Okay, 41. Huh? 41? Oh, okay. Ding dong. Huh? Whoa. Man. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Way to spread that, sir. You need to get some pubs on that. Leonard the Utah. Way to come with that, son. Way to go with that. Right? So, again, let's move on. Man, I tell you, I've seen it now, yeah. George Herbert Walker Bush, 41, 41st President, United States, dead in 94. Yeah, sure, he was at 10 p.m. today. Right? So all that shit, y'all keep doing, you got to face the inevitable. See, you can't keep doing shit and think that somehow you just thinking that you gonna be, you know, people got this thing about their science and think they're gonna live forever. Based on your interpretation? Man, y'all don't know a lot about nothing. You lie about everything. Oh, you went to Mars. You ain't been to the moon. But you been into Mars, right? Okay. I ain't gonna get on there. I'm gonna get on with my show. It's just the fact that what it is. I'm hot tonight. That's all. It's going to be hot tonight. All right, so, again, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me make sure this is the right one. Hold on. What's this? All right, I'm gonna go on here. I was just looking at that story. You came with that one. That was on time. All right, so now again, as I'm talking about, not allowing people to do what they do, disturbing what they do for your own gain. Well, let me show you this story here, then I'll come back and talk after the fact. Let's see if I can get let's see if we can get it in. Check it out. By tribe of North Centio Island may not have acted alone. You know I'm going to say that again. John Allen Cho, U.S. missionary killed by tribe on North Centio Island, may not have acted alone. This story was done November 29th, 2018 from The Independent, and this is how it reads. The American missionary killed by tribespeople on a remote island had been prepared for years ahead of the journey and may not have acted alone. It has emerged. John Allen Choi died on 17 November while attempting to spread Christianity to the protected island of North Central in the India administered Andaman and Nicobar chain. Police have for now abandoned attempts to land on the island and either retrieve the 27-year-old body or investigate his murder, saying they do not want to disturb the fragile lifestyle of the uncontacted Sentinelese tribe. In the aftermath of Mr. Chow's death, authorities arrest 5 fishermen and 2 local contacts of Mr. Chow on suspicion of helping him reach the island. All travel to North Central, which has been sheltered from extensive contact from the outside world for decades, is illegal under Indian law. Now, police say they are investigating the possibility that Mr. Choi had a series of meetings with another 2 American citizens in the Andaman capital of Port Blair, right up to the day he was due to leave for the island. The Hindustan Times quoted 2 police officials as saying that a 53-year-old woman from Tennessee and a 25-year-old man from Colorado arrived in India, traveled to the Andaman Island, and met with Mr. Choi from 5 to 10 November in what he describes in his journals as a safe house. Police said the 2 Americans who were not named in the report left the island on 10 of November, and Mr. Choi was supposed to start his journey north central the next day. He was ultimately delayed by a cyclone in the Bay of Bengal, pushing back the trip until 16th of November. Authorities reportedly have details for the 2 Americans and are considering whether to contact them as part of the investigation into Mr. Choi's death. Police Chief Dipendra Patkit told the Times 2 U.S. nationals have indeed visited Mr. Choi, saying it looks like Chow wasn't alone. Alright, so now you got this John Allen Cho, again, the so-called missionary exhibitionist, right? Thrill seeker, right? Goes over to the Sentinel's Island and gets himself killed, trying to retrieve the body, right? But they said, as I kind of alluded to those who heard me of some of the early previous shows, I talked about that again. Somebody sent him on a mission. They sent him on a one-way mission, right? Because again, maybe somebody got an idea. So they now saying that there's evidence now that there was 2 other people prior to him making that decision to do what he's doing. So I'm saying somebody sent him on a mission. Yeah, he was going because maybe he was naive. Right? He was naive. Thinking you're going to take a Bible with English with somebody who ain't never had contact. According to what they tell us, they ain't never had contact with nobody on the outside world other than their own people. What makes you think you can take a Bible in English and talk to them? Because you still believe that bullshit that they told you that Christopher Columbus and them came and they was able to do that shit. That's what you think. Then they tell you, well, they had interpreters. Well, if you got an interpreter, that means that motherfucker had to be one of them. Because I don't know if they had the Rosetta Stone at that time either, right? There ain't no Rosetta Stone and shit. Right? So that means the possibility of, again, everybody said they're trying to respect the fact that these people and the protection that goes according to the land, and again for India, right? But dude, I don't know if India really run India. You understand what I'm saying? I think it was Victoria became at one time in history. So I know Britain somewhere in here, right? But this here is an American citizen. And you know, America will go and retrieve its citizen. There had to be citizens. It could just be citizen. One, right? I ain't never seen them go put that out there for nobody black, though. Tell me if I'm wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I ain't never seen that happen, right? And I read history, so I ain't never seen that one. But, you know, I seen hostage, and I ran the hostage in the Khomeini in 76. Oh, I remember all that. Matter of fact, Jesse Jackson even tried going over there. I don't know what he was doing that shit for, but whatever he did it for, that was his business. But here's somebody who they want to retrieve the body. But they trying to respect in the way that they trying to show it, but then this coming out. So now there's some speculations as to, okay, if it was known not to do what you did, who put in the bug in your ear to go do that? Now we got some other people who are accessory to you. So then we have to find out who they are and what they connected to. And then the picture will get even, you know what I'm saying? Like an old jigsaw puzzle, right? You get that little 1,000-piece puzzle. And what they do, you know, like my mother was great at that, boy. Shit, you know how to get that outside of that, man. I ain't had the patience for no shit like that. You know, the little one was in school, little big pieces and shit, put this shit together, 10, 12, 15 pieces. We talking about 3,000 pieces. You know, there's an art to that shit. So what I'm saying here is, it's like putting that puzzle together. We putting the pieces together so you're going to start getting a picture. Because you got to say, well, who's these two people? Who they connected to? So then we'll find out maybe it may not have just been somebody who just came with, you know, I'm just going to do this for Jesus. No, there's somebody got some issue or plan about something. Maybe somebody they want to know what's in there, what's on there, what resources there. You get what I'm saying? You know we're going to keep saying leave them alone. Right? Leave them alone. But you know, our word ain't got no power, right? We done ain't got no power. We in here talking. He ain't got no power because he going to make sure ain't nobody going to get to hear you, right? That's the kind of shit it is. But whatever. But that story was done. I don't understand why this is doing that, but let's keep going. Now, let's do this. All right, so this story came up. And I guess the way I have to do this, hold on, let me see something right quick because I want to make sure. I had to do something again right quick. So want to make sure that was right because again it got me over here all messed up. So again, let me set it up. Now, you know, we have been seeing people propagating, talking about, hey, get into the Bitcoin game. You know, Bitcoin gonna be all this. Get in it while it's on the ground level. You know what I'm saying? It's from the current's gonna knock out all that. Okay, people was pitching that, right? Right? And if you've been paying a little attention, you know, it's been taking a nosedive, right? People been losing, you know, like stock market dropping, like so Bitcoin been dropping, right? Now again, big money gonna make money, little money taking again what they call risk, right? You take the risk trying to put your money into something like that, hoping that it can mature and grow and you can get some profits out of it. Well, so I seen this story, and I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna play it for you right quick, and come back, and then we'll talk about it. It's all stagnant now. See, yeah, look at that. See, it freezing me up. Yeah, I see all that. That don't even make no sense. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. See, this is what I fight over here, right? Yeah, you just go ahead and keep on DOS attacking. That's what you do. That's what you're good at. That's what you good at. But you swear down you all good. Alright, hold on, y'all. Hold on. It's freezing up so I can't do nothing. Yeah, like, you know, they gotta do what they do. Motherfucker sitting right up under here. Right up in here. So anyway, check this out. Let me see if I can play it now. DJ Khaled, Floyd Mayweather Jr. charged with promoting cryptocurrency without disclosing they were paid? You know I'm going to say that again. DJ Khaled, Floyd Mayweather Jr. charged with promoting cryptocurrency without disclosing they were paid? This story was done November 30th, 2018 from CNN. And this is how it reads. Music producer DJ Khaled and boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. were charged by the Securities and Exchange Commission with promoting investments in initial cryptocurrency coin offerings without revealing that they've been paid. The SEC has said that cryptocurrency coins sold in initial coin offerings, which is ICOs, may be considered securities and subject to federal security laws. Both Khaled and Mayweather settled with the SEC and agreed not to promote any securities, even digital ones, for 2 years and 3 years respectively, the SEC said Thursday. They also agreed to give the money they received to the SEC and pay penalties and interest. Mayweather failed to disclose that he received $300,000 from 3 different ICO issuers, including $100,000 from Central Tech. Khaled failed to disclose a payment of $50,000 from the same company. Central has separately been charged by the SEC, which alleged that its ICOs were fraudulent. Central could not immediately be reached for comment. Both Mayweather and Khaled promised Central ICOs on their social media accounts. Khaled called it a game changer, while Mayweather encouraged his followers to get in on the ICO, saying he'd taken part. Mayweather also commented on another ICO, saying he was going to make a lot of money. "You can call me Floyd Crypto Mayweather from now on," he tweeted. The SEO, or SEC, which has made it clear that ICOs can be fraudulent, encourages would-be investors to be wary of those ICOs that are endorsed by celebrities. With no disclosure about the payments, Mayweather and Khaled ICO promotions may have appeared to be unbiased rather than paid endorsements, said SEC Enforcement Division Co-Director Stephanie Ablakan. Social media influencers are often paid promoters, not investing professionals, and the securities they're touting, regardless of whether they are issued using traditional certificates or on blockchains, could be frauds, said Stephen Pelks, another SEC Enforcement Division co-director. This is the first time the SEC has brought charges against individuals for promoting ICOs, and the investigation is ongoing. Okay, so what you got there is you got DJ Khaled and Floyd Mayweather trying to, trying to fluff them pockets up, right? A lot of people thought they can get into the Bitcoin game, and, the return, again, when they was first started, the number was astronomical. It was something, you want to get in and hope you had got in earlier when you paid pennies on it, and it ballooned up. So I guess, they got some paper to flaunt with. Mayweather always, that's what he do, right? Money way Mayweather, right? So, what they trying to do is being what they call influencers, right? Which is basically kind of like, promoting. They got followings, right? So what they do is they promote. So I guess if they paying them with crypto money, right? Cryptocurrency that they gaining for them advertising to their followers, right? And then they're coming in and they're trying to get in the game, with their money trying to get into it, but they were not claiming it, right? They was acting like they wasn't getting paid. And it done came down, the hammer come down on them. The SEC like, look, man, you know what I'm saying? That game is a fraudulent game. They hustling y'all, right? And you making other people buy into this, right? And they losing their money, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, it's a new game. But, you know, it's kind of like, you know, people thinking like the gold rush. You know, they want to get in at ground level, get in and hope that somehow you become rich. You know, again, everything that glitter ain't gold. But, you know, so you have to ask yourself, how did they find out? Well, it was that company that was paying them. I guess they got audited, right? And so you know how it is. You know how the game is. Motherfucker about to do this bid. If he can turn to get a lesser sentence, they gon' trick. So it looked like that's what happened. So Mayweather said, here's the $300,000 back. And they said, no. You got some interest on top of that, homie. And just, you know, it's kind of like in Barbershop, right? Remember when Barbershop, when Cube, when, what was his name? What was his name? Eddie, what was his name? He was like, nigga. You know, that motherfucker, remember he got the money from him, was going to put the chop, and he decided he going to take it back. He's like, you got to have my money by 3 o'clock. He's like, no, I can get you right now. He's like, 20. You know what I'm saying? That's double. Right, interest on a loan, right? So that's what they hit him with. They hit him up with the interest and say, now he got $600,000 that he got to pay back on top of what he done got. If you don't want to get any charges. And then that story said charge, but they didn't get charged. What they did is they came on them and said, look, you got to get that back, because otherwise you will be complicit in this, because they caught up on fraud. So what you do this, pay back the penalties, and then, all right, based on the way we look at y'all, was just out there talking. Y'all don't even know all the ins and outs of this, because again, you know, that game is new. A lot of people think you're just getting in and talking about I'm going to be rich, but there's a lot more to it. And again, you know, you got to study the game to understand how the game go before you get all invested, especially when your money ain't long. So you got short money, you know, you got to invest wisely. Otherwise, you know, a lot of people is gone, and I'm pretty sure those stories going to come out eventually. A lot of people who lost motherfucking shirt off their back, motherfucking inheritance, homes, all that shit gonna come out later, especially when it come to our people, because I seen people on this corner who advocating that, and now that it's taking the nose dive, they don't even curl their mouth to even say Bitcoin. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, I just brought that story out tonight, share it with you so you know you done heard it, because you know over here we give it to you fresh. Before everybody else start getting on, it's already sold. That's why I have so hard getting over here. Now, move to the next story. Yeah, this one too, right? All I can say about this here, see, when you like what they say, pork, the other white meat. Sometimes you pay a price, you know. Sometimes you might see some guy nice look, you know, nice shape, got something peculiar, you know. For them who like that, all right, that's what you do. Y'all who out here who like that, I'm talking to you. You got that little peculiarness to it, got a resemblance to something that you like. But you got something to catch your eye, you know, and y'all falling all over here and thinking, you know, you done came up, you done got a social status, you got a trophy on your arm, right? You know, a lot of brothers do get a little money. That's the first thing they want to go. They want to go get on your elbow, go get Becky on your elbow, right? And sometimes you can give off and live happily ever after, but then you can have some situations where it may cost you, and it costs you big. Well, who are you talking about, Mr. Blows Your Mind? You know I got to show it. So check this out. I'll be right back, y'all.
Some newly released video from TMZ shows Willoughby native and Kansas City Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt shoving and kicking a woman.
This all apparently happened at a Cleveland hotel back in February, but the video is all new. Channel 3's Amani Abraham is here with what we know tonight. Hi, Amani.
Hello, that's right. It happened earlier this year in February. No charges or arrests were made, but now new questions have surfaced after TMZ Sports posted that surveillance video, which they say was captured at the Metropolitan at the 9 here in Cleveland. Now, the video here reportedly shows what happened inside. TMZ Sports identifies the man as Kareem Hunt, saying it shows him shoving the woman and then her striking back while others are trying to hold Hunt back. Later, Hunt reportedly kicked the 19-year-old woman while she was on the ground. Now, the woman had called police accusing Hunt of assaulting her after they spent the night with friends in a party bus. In a police report, Hunt's friend said that they asked the woman and her friend to leave the hotel after they found out that both were 19 years old. But she tells police it was because she, quote, didn't want one of the men. Now, the woman is also accused of calling Hunt a racial slur during that altercation. Now, there were 2 police reports filed during that, one where the woman accused Hunt of assaulting her and another where Hunt's friends claims the woman assaulted her. Now, the police report states that the surveillance video was available, but it's not clear whether police had reviewed it at the time. I'm Manny Abraham, Channel 3 News.
I expect there'll be much more to come on this, including from the NFL. Thanks, Manny.
Kareem Hunt by the chief. Team says he lied. You know I'm going to say that again. Kareem Hunt cut by the Chiefs for brutalizing woman on video. Team said he lied. This story was done November 30th, 2018 by TMZ Sports. And this is how it reads. This is an update. 6:27 p.m. Hunt just made a statement to ESPN about our video saying, I want to apologize for my actions. I deeply regret what I did. I hope to move on from this. 5:50 p.m. The Chiefs have cut Kareem Hunt and said he lied to the team when they spoke directly to him about the incident. The team says when the NFL and Cleveland Police Department launched the investigation, the team called in Hunt. Members of our management team spoke directly to him. Kareem was not truthful in those discussions. The video released today confirms that fact. A source connected to the NFL investigation tells TMZ the league made multiple attempts to obtain the video but was turned away. We're told the league contacted the hotel and was told it is corporate policy to only turn surveillance video over to law enforcement. We contacted the Metropolitan at the 9 and Tony Quito says we realize that this is an ongoing investigation and cannot share any additional information at this time. We're told the NFL also contacted Cleveland Police Department, attempted to get the video, but was also denied. The source says the league investigation included reaching out to the alleged victim who did not respond. 5:26 p.m. The NFL just announced Hunt's been placed on the commission exempt list and will not practice, play, or attend games. The NFL added the NFL investigation, which began immediately following the incident in February, will include a review of the new information that was made public today. 1:33 p.m. Hunt has reportedly been sent home from the Chiefs practice facility, according to ESPN Dan Graziano. He reported Hunt will likely be placed on the commission exempt list, which means he will probably not play this Sunday when the Chiefs take on the Raiders in Cleveland. Or in Oakland. Sorry about that. TMZ Sports has obtained video of Kansas City Chiefs star running back Kareem Hunt shoving, bull rushing, and kicking a woman in a Cleveland hotel back in February. Kareem has not missed a single game this season despite the incident happening months before the 2018 NFL season kickoff. And team CEO Clark Hunt publicly stated in August he doubted Hunt would be suspended. In the video, Hunt is seen arguing with a 19-year-old woman outside of his room at the Metropolitan at the 9 at 3:22 a.m. on February 10, 2018. Hunt turns a corner and confronts the woman, shoving her hard. The woman strikes him back in the face And that's when Hunt goes berserk. As friends tried to hold him back, the 2017 Pro Bowler, who led the league in rushing yards, exploded and knocked one of his friends into the woman, who both go flying into a wall. Both Kareem's male friends and the woman appear dazed, but Kareem makes his way over to the female and kicks her while she's crouching on the ground, knocking her over. Police were called to the scene, but no arrests were made, according to the police report obtained by TMZ Sports. Surveillance video from the hotel was obtained by law enforcement. We're told that video is part of the evidence that was submitted to prosecutors. Still, cops did not arrest Hunt and no charges were filed because officers said they were unable to determine if a crime had been committed. At the time of the incident, the woman told police the whole thing started because Kareem kicked her out of the room after she refused to hook up with one of the men in Kareem's entourage. Kareem's friend told cops the woman had gone crazy when asked to leave and called Kareem the nigger word, and then struck one of Kareem's female friends once things turned physical. Unclear why the NFL has not taken any action against Hunt. We reached out to the league to find out if they pursued the video. We also reached out to the cops to find out if the NFL contacted them about the footage as well. The whole incident is reminiscent of the Ray Rice scandal when the NFL star knocked out his then fiancée in a hotel elevator in February 2014. The NFL suspended him indefinitely, but only after TMZ Sport published the brutal knockout video from the inside the elevator, video the NFL claimed they had not seen until our story. After the incident, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell acknowledged failures in the NFL investigation process and said they would overhaul their protocol. Since then, the NFL claimed it has tried to be tougher on players accused of attacking women. Most famously, the league suspended Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games in 2017, stemming from allegations he got physical with an ex-girlfriend in 2016. We reached out to the NFL for comment. So far, no word back. All right, so you got Kareem Hunt, right? Got himself a little hotel room, got him and some of his homies. You know what I'm saying? He in town, must have been around about the holiday. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's still football season. So then I picked up some little shorties. And they say, we finna go parlay, right? We finna go ahead and get it in. You know how it is, fellas. I don't know, maybe you got a partner like that. You know, he got some pull, he got a little rank. You know, y'all in his entourage. He like, no, this is going to be all good, man. I got everything set up. Now, you get somebody in there, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, picking and choosing where they want to go, and maybe who she getting she don't want, man. You know, man, dick stink. I don't know what the fucking shit is, right? But she like, she ain't want to get down with her homie, right? She ain't want to get down with her. So, she tripping. You messing it up for everybody, you know what I'm saying? He mad or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He woo, like, you know, look, you're gonna do what you do, you know what I'm saying? But maybe she ain't come there. Maybe she trying to get with you, right? Okay, so there's some internal things going on here, right? Because I don't know if that's his piece. I don't know if that's what that is. I could be mistaken. Y'all might know more than I do. Because I ain't not to all that. But anyway, so based on the story, Sam, give her, they boot her out the he-ho. She got to go. You got to get up out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? She tripping now. She making a scene, spectacle. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's on his name, right? You know what I'm saying? It's everything on his name, you know, kind of like with the Pac situation, right? You got the big name, anything that go down, everything going to fall on you. So he trying to check her, right? Like, you know, he trying to muff or whatever. She, you know, she backhand too. He's like, okay. He ain't finna have that. But see, again, look at the company you got. like I said, I know you know they got a little enticement to you, got a little something you like, you want, it's a little bit easier, the game is a little easier and all that good stuff. Okay, but then you had this situation now. Now you being in the position you need to be thinking like this, like, well, hold on, man, this ain't gonna go. I don't need this, right? So you have one of your boys in the entourage handle that. You don't get on hands and get yourself involved because, again, you got too much to lose. And you better pay the big price for that one. Because you went down there, when she was squatted down, you was kicking the field goal from 40 yards out. He was going to kick the field goal from 40 out. And then you see how they threw in the story, he is a Pro Bowler. This mug is rushing, leading the NFL in rushing. So this ain't no regular 40, you know what I'm saying, mug sweat kicking and dance on the stress, the white girl. You know what I'm saying? And to show his strength, they said he knocked his friend and her when they both was dazed. Did you see how he was dazed, right? So they painted it on him. They painting it. Because you ain't finna have the little money you ain't got and think you finna go back down. Because you finna go back down, right? They finna sing you back down, right? Because the NFL can't have it. Because again, that's the Nephilim League. You know that, right? The Nephilims, right? You know who the Nephilims is, right? NFL, Nephilims, right? You know how to spell it? Nephilim is Neph, right? So NFL, Nephilims, the Nephilim League, the motherfucker that was big, God, running, strong. That's the Nephilim League right there, right? So that's why they can't be getting into domestic situations because they say, you niggas stronger than the average motherfuckers out here. You bigger, stronger, faster. You know what I'm saying? You got to constrain, you got to control yourself, right? So he gonna have to deal with that, right? You know, right there, see, you know, with the diversity, right? Everybody with the multicultural diversity. And then when you get in these situations, you just looking at her regular like she just any one of them chicks, one of them females that's there. But she had another mask on. She had another uniform on that should have been like, I don't need that. You better go on down here. Matter of fact, had one of them that you could bail out. Take care of that. No, he went and did that, right? So now everything is jeopardized. Everything been thrown out all because whoever this whatever you want to call it, done destroy everything that you didn't worked to, get master the picture. The league tried to, you know what I'm saying, even the police tried to work with it. It was like, well, we didn't arrest him because, we couldn't even really tell whether it was a crime because, again, we get to see the video and everybody was kind of stagnating the video. The video couldn't get out. But look at TMZ thirsty ass. They go get the video. Look, we the one that sprung the one about the elevator when we the one that did what Shine, TMZ thirsty ass, right? So it's out there now. And that didn't happen a while back for them to be talking about today. So just go to show you that, the eye in the sky is everywhere, right? Just like now, they going to throw that back, what I said in the beginning. They throw it back at me one day. They going to throw it to me. Whatever it is, what it is, right? So moving on, man, let me see who all out here. Oh man, I got mugs in the house. Oh, what? I get loud, y'all come through, huh? What's good, CDJ? Ebony Camerons and Leonard the Youth always say what's good. Leave them Becky's alone. I know that's right. They can't. They love they love that pork, the other white meat. They love that. You know what I'm saying? Can't leave that alone. Right? So anyway, we're going to move on to the next part of this story. Matter of fact, because I kind of already had told y'all about this one, right? Matter of fact, this one going to trip this. Okay. Matter of fact, you remember like the other day, for those who've seen the other day's show, right? Because it looked like nobody looking at too much no more. Y'all still all fat and greasy from all that Thanksgiving bird and shit y'all been eating. Couldn't even come on, peek one of my videos. I'm over here doing it, ain't nobody looking. That's all right. I'll get y'all ass back. Put that pay-per-view on y'all ass. Then you be like, you remember the days it was free. I'm bullshit. So I broke the story about they get the 3,000, 4,000. They found the tomb, right? The mummy, right? Remember I told her Tuya. There was Queen T, which is King Tut and all them, and them all brothers and sisters, right? Them of our peoples, right? Well, look what they did today. Look what they come out with today. Now, okay, look, check this one out. Now, remember they came up with that one, and so I went and showed you when I showed the faces, right? I showed you Queen T, the one they said it looked like Michelle Obama, right? And then the one who they found, and it was actually her mama, right? So you know these people were color. Well, look what they came out today, what they said they found. Check this out.
Eight pharaonic-era mummies have been discovered by archaeologists, as ancient Egypt continues to reveal its hidden treasures. They were found in the same pyramid as King Amenhotep II, located in Damtar, near the Great Pyramids of Giza west of capital Cairo. 8 limestone coffins were discovered as part of an excavation project, and was covered with a layer of colored cardboard in the form of a human. An expert from Egypt's Antiquities Ministry revealed 3 of the mummies are in excellent condition, and date from the late era of ancient Egypt, which spanned from 1085 to 332 BC. The Egyptian archaeological expedition was unearthing the southeast corner of the pyramid of King Amenhotep II, when they uncovered the remains. Dr. Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities and head of the mission, said that the mission began its work in August. He revealed that the coffins are now being sent for restoration. The late era included the last 6 dynasties of native Egyptian rulers, and ended when the Persian Empire, led by Alexander the Great, conquered the land and established the Ptolemaic dynasty. Another ancient Egyptian discovery was announced last week, when a 3,000-year-old woman was found almost perfectly preserved. The sarcophagus was one of 2 found in an ancient tomb in El Assaif, Luxor, on the bank of the river Nile near the Valley of the Kings. The first one had been opened earlier, and examined by Egyptian antiquities officials, and contained a priest who oversaw the embalming of pharaohs. One sarcophagus was Risi style, which dates back to the 17th dynasty, while the other sarcophagus was from the 18th dynasty, Minister of Antiquities Khaled El Anani said. The 2 tombs were present with their mummies inside. The 18th dynasty dates back to the 13th century BC, a period noted for some of the most well-known pharaohs, including Tutankhamun and Ramses II. It was the first known time that authorities had opened a previously unopened sarcophagus before international media. Authorities also revealed in the same area the tomb of the overseer of the mummification shrine identified as Thawarkatif. The tomb contained 5 colored masks and some 1,000 Ashabti statues, the miniature figurine of servants to serve the dead in the afterlife. 300 meters of rubble were removed over 5 months to uncover the tomb, which contained colored ceiling paintings depicting the owner and his family. The tomb, which also contains mummies, skeletons and skulls, dates back to the Middle Kingdom almost 4,000 years ago, but was reused during the late period. Ancient Egyptians mummified humans to preserve their bodies for the afterlife, while animal mummies were used as religious offerings.
Eight mummies discovered in Egypt? You know I'm going to say that again. 8 mummies discovered in Egypt? This story was done November 30th, 2008. And this is how it reads. Egypt, cue the Indiana Jones theme tune. There's been another impressive archaeological discovery in Egypt. And this time, it's mummies. Following on from the recent discovery of a 3,000-year-old mummified woman, Egyptian excavators have unearthed 8 newly discovered ancient mummies inside limestone coffins. These sarcophagus or sarcophagi get your bum ass out of here doing that shit. Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, explaining that 3 of the mummies are in good condition. November 30th, 18, and they play it back. Reads, Egypt cued the Indiana Jones theme tune. There's been another impressive archaeological discovery in Egypt, and this time it's mummies. Following on from the recent discovery of a 3,000-year-old mummified woman, Egyptian excavators have unearthed 8 newly discovered ancient mummies inside limestone coffins. These sarcophagus or sarcophagi, adorned with the beautiful painted human forms, were uncovered in the southeastern area of King Amenhotep II's pyramid in Dashur necropolis near the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. They have been dated back to the Pharaonic period from 32 BC to 332 BC. Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities announced the discovery on its Facebook page, with Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, explaining that 3 of the mummies are in good condition. The findings have been placed in the Dashur storehouse for conservation. Photos of the striking discoveries are going to be exhibited in soon-to-be-open museum in Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh. New discoveries. In the past couple of months, Egypt also opened its 4,000-year-old tomb of Mihu for the first time. Discoveries, a new mini sphinx, and unearthed a mysterious ancient ramp that offer clues about how the country's famous pyramids were constructed. Publicizing these incredible discoveries on social media is one way Egypt's trying to attract tourists. Egyptian officials are keen to attract more visitors to the country. Its tourism numbers took a swift decline following the Arab Spring of 2011. But in August of 2018, the UN's latest tourism highlights reports pinpoints Egypt as the fastest growing tourist destination in 2017, thanks to a 55.1% growth in 2017 international arrivals. Right. So again, as I had showed y'all before, matter of fact, let me show you the picture what I showed a couple days ago, right? You see they doing over here, right? You see, when you hear all that stagnation, that's not my system. That's somebody, look at the numbers in here, somebody in here doing that DOS attack. That's, again, as I talked on the very first starting the show, when talking about that Facebook and who all else are doing there, that's what that is in here. So anyway, check it out. So that's what I showed y'all the other day. Remember when they told me they found the 3,000-year-old on the left? That's T, right? T-I-Y-E. And then you have Thuya, which is her mama, right? But when I read that story originally, it talked about Thuya, but then the second part of it talked about, no, well, that's what he said, but we have to really kind of figure out if that's who that is, right? Because they don't want that. They don't want that. So now they come today talking about they found 8, right? You seen how that look. So, right? The tomb got a little somebody in there and the face painted on the outside to make sure they were white. Huh? Again, the imagery, again, pictures, they said picture is over 1,000 words. right? So they feeding it to you. See, look, we were in Egypt too. We're Egyptians too, right? But you won't say who the other ones is. Well, some woman. But you said woman as a depicting. It could be anybody. When they get done, as I told y'all before about what's happening, we're going to be some of the last people that's going to know that Egypt was, or matter of fact, Africa was a black continent. They're working on rewriting everything. Huh? Yes, from 332 to 332 BC down to 32, when they talk about Ptolemaic dynasty. When they was up in there, talking about from when Alexander came in, and you know what I'm saying, they praised Alexander, but he died. So that's how Ptolemy got in there, and really went to the brother, and they undercut him, and then he got up in there, and then they ruled, right, all the way down to about 32 AD, right? And so, or BC or AD, 1 or 2, right? So anyway. So here they is. Now they done dug up to give you the picture. See, look, we're in that too, right? Because again, if I don't know y'all reading that, because I'm gonna bring it if I see it. I'm reading a lot where they're talking about. Now they're talking about the device. What they call it, the device. What they call it, DEVIOS. Device, man, right? It's just kind of like he looked like. He a caveman, but he looked like a white man, but you know, he kind of like his pigmentation have been really melted off. And now they got him not on the outer skirt, they got him more coming in. Then they came with something today talking about they found something that said that's going to change. Matter of fact, I could look I think I got that story right here. Wait, hold on, I can tell you right here. Hold on, I got it right. I think I got it right in front of me. Hold on. I'll tell you what it is. Because they said something today that I read today where they talking about, here it is, ancient tool found in North Africa could rewrite human origin. Huh? They going to change all of that. They've tried to erase us from everything. Do I need to say that again? I'm going to do this story tomorrow, but I'm giving you a preview now. Ancient tools found in North Africa, ain't that what we talking about now? Could rewrite human origin story. So now today, after they found that one, they gonna come back today. Oh look what we got today. Look, right? So again, those if you done went, especially they went before now, because you know they've been in there in the tombs. They in there had them Arabs in there recoloring, putting Christianity. They do all kind of defamation or defaming. It is defamation, but they defaming, the antiquity of preservation of what antiquity is supposed to be about. They in there, okay, they rewriting it. Okay, yes, there's a period of time when you talk about the Ptolemaic dynasty. I give you that. But still, again, that's a foreigner coming in. It's not the original people. But those are the original. They got to be aliens and everything else, but they're not you, right? You know how they get down. So again, I had to bring that to you so that some of those you didn't know. They got 8 mummies they got in there, and look who they put in. They only showed one, but you know it's time going. Like I told you, the trick bag is Lucy. I don't know how you say Lucy in an African tongue or language. Ain't no Lucy. So Lucy can't be who you think Lucy is. Right? Okay. All right. But we know we keep reciting that, right? When we try to give it first in that. They going one of these days we may not be here, y'all. But they gonna pull that trick bag. Because they got the institutions to be inculcating in the little ones. And just like that one story I did, remember when the shorty that was in high school, because he paid attention and the way that they worded it, right, that we weren't slaves, we were workers, right? But he caught it, and because he come from a household with the educators, he knew the C, and he called his mama, hey mama, you know something? Hey, guys, workers in here. And she, whoa, really? And then she got involved, and that's how he ended up, getting out. So So they're going to change this. If we are not vigilant in talking about history and all that to our offsprings and children and whatever you got is, you better inculcate in it, because they going for that. Better believe it. So let's go on to the next story. I guess we can go on this because, I don't think they include us in this when they talk about this. They talk about it a lot. And matter of fact, I talked about it the other day. I talked about the devastation again, but it's no comparison, because I'm going to show tonight. I'm going to show you something tonight, because yesterday when I did, well, not yesterday, the show I did, it was yesterday. It talked about where Melania Trump did a speech, and she was talking about she was doing something for a university, talking about the opioid crisis and how it is the worst in the United States history of epidemics. I had to beg to differ. I said, I'll give you your tragedy. I'll give you, you know what I'm saying? When this one say Holocaust, I'll give you that. This one, I'll give you that. But you don't get number one. No. You don't get number one. People can acknowledge, okay, what you're going through, but don't try to trump us, right? You keep trying to trump us, make it like what we went through and what we go through is something minuscule, and get over it, right? So they put out something that said about what's going on. And I'm just wondering, see, you're going to get the propaganda when you watch this kind of stuff. You're going to see the sprinkle when they're talking about it, but it's really not about you. They're going to show a picture or two of you in it, but it ain't about you. What are you talking about, Mr. Blowback? You just look, just look. Don't pay me no attention. Just see with your own eyes. Somebody don't want this being shown, huh? You going out your way, huh? Going all out your way. I'm going to wait. I'll wait. We patient over here. I'll wait.
Expected to live, and the top leading causes of death.
No, we're going to get it back.
Drug overdose deaths since.
No, we're going to go back. Y'all wouldn't, you see it with your own eyes, you wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it, would you? If I told you this, you wouldn't believe it, right? Huh? You wouldn't believe it if I told you. You would think that I'm making it up. Oh, he always say that. You seeing it with your own eyes. It ain't my stuff. It ain't me. Everything else play right. Okay, try it again. Funny, man. Shameful, man. Shameful. It's very shameful. See, yeah, you do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do. You making it clear. You make it clear. You make it clear what I talk about. If what I'm saying is a lie, then what's this? If what I say is a lie, then why the video can't play? Huh? It's public information. So what's the big hoopla about? Oh, because people are actually getting to see it. Oh, is that what it is? I'm looking. I'm a whiteologist. I'm always looking. So you ain't gonna slide that past me. So try it again.
Americans are killing themselves than ever before. Tonight, the CDC is breaking down how long you're expected to live and the top leading causes of death. A spike in drug overdose deaths and suicide caused our life expectancy to plummet in 2017. Deaths linked to drugs topped 70,000 last year. That's nearly quadruple the rate from 1999. The suicide rate increased 3.7%, dropping the average life expectancy age from 78.7 in 2016 to 78.6 for those born in the U.S. last year. Experts say people who took their own lives account for almost 3/4 of all deaths across the country. More than 2.8 million Americans died last year. That's the most reported for a single year since the government started counting more than a century ago. The CDC director says the new data should serve as a wake-up call. Even with these increases, the CDC says the top 10 leading causes of death last year remain unchanged: heart disease, cancer, unintentional injuries, and flu and pneumonia.
Look at that, huh? Look how hard it is for me to get that out, right? Look how hard that is for me just to play that. What is it that you don't want nobody to recognize? Huh? Is there something that you don't want us to recognize? Huh? It's public information. It's out there. Oh, you don't want my people to be recognized. Well, okay, well, it's okay. I get that. I know everybody got us. We always only 13% and abortion and all that. I get that. But see, this thing here is going right before your eyes and you wouldn't even know it. If you've seen the show yesterday, when I was giving about the opioid report, it was talking about 72,000 people died last year of opioid overdose. I'm going to say that number again. 72,000 died last year on opioid overdose. I don't think they'd call it an epidemic if it's us. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't no crisis, ain't no epidemic. It's just deal with it, niggers. Right? That's basically what they say when again they catch cold, we catch pneumonia. So it ain't no epidemic. Because it ain't got to be including us. It's other people who this is who's attributed to these stats, right? That's who this is talking about. So don't be mad at me because all I'm doing is bringing information. That's all it is. All it is information, public information. There ain't nothing I'm saying here that's rocket science. You put it out there, we know it, and those who read, they reading it. So again, my channel is an informative channel. It's a news channel. I got history into it too. You understand? But don't be mad about it. So they are having issues. People are dropping off like a lot, right? To the fact that it's alarming that they're trying to come with all kinds of, they're not trying to incarcerate them. They're actually trying to medicate them and come with funding and all. Oh, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. That's what the people should do to help when people who, are sick and, going through something. You know what I'm saying? You don't incarcerate them. You don't lock them up, right? You don't scarlet letter them. You know what I'm saying? That would be inhumane, right? If you did that, right? You're probably compassionate when people going through stuff like that. You ain't supposed to be hurrah and clapping and congratulating and slapping fire with each other. That would be cruel and evil, right? Now, let me show some other parts to this too, because let's look at this. Yeah, again, we give acknowledgement when you're going through shit. We would do it. We'll do that. That's the thing about black people. As much as everybody says, oh, we soft and you could walk and you could do all that, because that's a spirit. That's a spirit we got in us. But again, family fight each other. You know how family gonna do. We ain't gonna let nobody else. But in this case, because of our we prisoners of war, we ain't gonna even retaliate. So we gotta have this spirit put on us. It's kind of like they tell you how the animals was in the ark, and those people who believe in it, there had to be a spirit put on them, because otherwise you're trying to figure out how them animals and lions and shit didn't kill each other, right? So it had to be a spirit if you're going to go. You're going to go with the North Star, right? If you're going to go with that, right? So there's a spirit on us. So, okay, we docile, we take it how you give it. But then when the goose is getting like the gander, now it's emergency. It's emergency, right? Now again, we don't gloat and laugh about the shit. It is what it is. It's serious, right? So let me share something else they're talking about because it's going down. It's going down, right? It's really going down. So we're gonna let it play. Y'all gonna let it play, or you gonna let it play? Let's see what's going on.
The U.S., soaring use of opioids has forced tens of thousands of children from their homes, creating a generation of kids abandoned by addicted parents.
What's your favorite fish to catch?
Tiffany Eggers of McCordsville, Indiana, started fostering Eli as an infant. He was drug positive.
When I got him at 4 months, he reeked of some sort of substance. It literally took a week to get this horrible smell out of his hair, out of his saliva, out of his feces, out of his urine.
Today, Eli is a healthy little boy. The Eggers family adopted him, but will never forget the difficult process.
He's very colic. He just kind of screamed, and now I look back on, I think he was just traumatized.
Though substance abuse has long been an issue for child welfare officials, this is the most prolific wave of children affected by addiction since crack cocaine use surged in the 1980s.
He was born on methadone. They sent him home, and then he went in a severe withdrawal.
Shawnee Wilson grew up with addicts and was 13 when child welfare officials removed her from her home. Now, at 26, she's trying to beat heroin, having already lost custody of 2 children and given another up at birth. Her 4th child, Kingston, was born just over a year ago, and it took a month for doctors to wean him off the heroin Wilson exposed him to. He is in foster care now in Indianapolis, and Wilson is fighting to get him back.
It's hard. It was harder at first, as I was still struggling more with addiction, but now it's making me stronger for when he comes home.
New foster care cases involving parents who are using drugs have hit the highest point in more than 3 decades of record keeping, accounting for 92,000 children entering the system last year. The crisis is so severe, with a 32% spike in drug-related cases from 2012 to 2016.
I came to Indiana and I was floored at what I saw here.
Dr. Tara Benjamin is a maternal fetal medicine specialist. She treats women with high-risk pregnancies.
When I walked into the labor and delivery unit, there's always a whiteboard, but they had a list of patients with the title "Do Not Prescribe," and it meant if these women call, they're probably seeking, so don't prescribe for them. I had never heard of that in life. To me, that was an indicator of how bad this epidemic was here.
In the state of Indiana, drug-related foster cases shot up more than 6-fold between 2000 and 2015.
I read the report and I just burst out crying.
Judge Marilyn Moores has been on the front lines of helping children affected by the horrors of their parents' addiction. Her burden is making the right decision for families according to the law and her heart.
We had a 2-year-old that was found in a home. The neighbor heard him screaming. And thank God the door was unlocked, and the neighbor went over and found the 2-year-old in the home. The dad was dead of a heroin overdose with a needle in his arm, and no one knew how long the 2-year-old had been in the home.
The opioid epidemic is destroying communities and families. Meanwhile, thousands work towards solutions and a means to comfort the children born into the desolation of addiction. Robert Ray, Associated Press.
Right? Oh, man, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, kids, you got to be addicted, man. Parents done died and had to be in the foster. That's touching. Real touching. No, you don't want to see nobody like that. Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you would be a monster. Right? You would be a real monster if you just thought like, that's cool, that's their problem, let them deal with that, right? If you wanted to look at it from that perspective, but again, we don't gloat on that because, you know, I think we kind of know from our own perspective about certain shit, right? We been there, done that, right? We've been there, we've done that. That doesn't happen, right? Let me give you a little bit more on that. Let me show you something else that's going on with that, right? And make sure, let's say, okay, let that get off. Okay, yeah, okay, you let me get that one off. All right, so let's try this one. Let's get another aspect to this, right? So let me see if I can play it. If you're gonna let me do it, all right, let's go. Come on. Seek their day in court. You know I'm gonna say that again. Babies of the opioid crisis seek their day in court. This story is done by Politico, November 29, 2018. And this is how it reads. Lawyers representing babies who were born addicted to opioids are trying to break away from the massive national litigation underway, arguing that these particular vulnerable victims need a legal pathway all their own. A federal judge in Cleveland overseeing the complex lawsuit against opioid makers and distributors is encouraging hundreds of local governments, Native American tribes, hospitals, and patients who file separate lawsuits to soon reach a single settlement worth potential hundreds of billions of dollars from companies that pushed out the powerful painkillers while downplaying their risk. But the attorneys for the opioid-dependent babies are going to court this week to argue that their young clients' crushing needs are being overlooked in the legal morass. They say the clock is ticking to help hundreds of thousands of kids potentially facing lifelong health and learning complications researchers still scrambling to understand. These kids end up being robbed of a chance because of opioids and because of Big Pharma, said Kevin Thompson, one of the attorneys representing the opioid babies. Thompson is pushing for the babies' cases. There are at least 13 class action lawsuits to be carved out from the sprawling lawsuits in Cleveland and transferred to a federal judge in West Virginia, one of the hardest hit states where roughly 5% of all babies are born dependent on opioids. On Thursday morning, a 7-judge federal panel in New York that considered jurisdictional disputes will hear oral arguments on Thompson's request. The defendants in the case, who include major opioid manufacturers like Purdue Pharma and Teva Pharmaceuticals, and national distributors like McKesson and Cardinal Health, and the plaintiff lead counsel are pushing to keep the opioid litigations in one courtroom with the expectations of a global settlement that could rival the $240 billion tobacco settlement of the late 1990s. They argued the opioid babies' claims are duplicative of other cases, and separating their lawsuits would undermine the national effort. This crisis has afflicted every part of our country in every demographic, including children, and the most effective way to secure the resources needed to meaningfully address both the epidemic and the decade-long recovery process is through the litigation as it is currently structured, the plaintiff's lead counsel said in a statement. A baby is born with opioid withdrawal symptoms every 15 minutes in the United States, according to an estimate published in the journal Pediatrics this year. The health effects are still being studied, and symptoms can vary. Common issues include hearing and vision loss, gastronomical problems, according to Raul Gupta, who until September was West Virginia's Public Health Commissioner. The challenge is this was a really uncommon issue 10 years ago, said Gupta, who is now Chief Medical and Health Officer at the March of Dimes. We still do not have good systematic longitudinal data. Attorneys for the opioid-dependent babies are seeking relief from medical bills, which are likely to reach hundreds of thousands of dollars per person. They also want the court to order the opioid companies to fund a long-term medical monitoring program that would include screening for the kids' neurodevelopment problems, in emphases, advent help from the fine jobs after high school. The lawyers are also trying to force opioid makers and distributors to turn over evidence that might shed light on how the products affect kids. For example, they say opioid manufacturers' testing on rats may provide new insight. However, the lawyers worry such a request would be overlooked in a sprawling litigation overseen by the judge in Cleveland. Advocates for opioid-dependent babies see the tobacco settlement as a cautionary tale, since only a fraction of the payments or payouts have been spent on combating tobacco use. Much of those payments, which are still ongoing, have been used to patch budget shortfalls and cover routine government expenses. In the most extreme cases, states opt for smaller upfront payments to build schools and roads to pay government workers. Advocates for the children fear that opioid money will be used in similar ways, leaving the babies' needs unmet. There's practically nobody who's even spending close to the minimum amount that should be spent, said Mark Greensboro, former chief counsel for tobacco at the National Association of Attorney General, which helped brokers the tobacco settlement. It's not all what the Attorney General envisioned when they entered into the settlement, and it is a real shame, added Greenwald, now a senior consultant with the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. West Virginia has received $1.2 billion in tobacco settlement money. Is case in point. State lawmakers initially required 50% of those funds to be put into a trust fund for combating tobacco use state health programs. But within a few years, it used the fund to lower doctors' medical malpractice costs and help bail out the state workers' compensation fund. In 2007, the state sacrificed future settlement payments to bolster its retirement fund for teachers. Those kind of pressures on elected officials are always going to be there, especially if there's a big pot of money that one can dip into, says Deborah Hamilton, a former West Virginia Deputy Attorney General. It is a risk we cannot take. We should not make the money a political football. The first opioid trial in Cleveland will start next September. If the sides still haven't reached a settlement, the New York judge panel hearing the request to separate the opioid-dependent babies lawsuit could take weeks to decide on the issue. If the judge sides with the babies, other groups could seek similar measures to protect their interests. Native American tribes who worry their cases have been overlooked have already been granted permission by the Cleveland judge to raise their own legal issues in the national litigation. My suspicion is that if babies get a separate track, then you'll see a lot of individual cases seeking similar treatment, said David Domina, an attorney who represents Native American tribes in the opioid litigation. I don't think it will stay as narrow. Okay, so you heard about babies, opioid crisis, and how they're litigating for John Allen Cho, U.S. missionary killed by tribe. Why are they doing that? Okay, but anyway. So you have this setting up money for all those babies who were affected by parents who had been on opioid or opium, right? And they're getting the money through litigation through the companies by trying to get settlements to set up funds, because they said, based on the unknown studies, they say that these children are going to have problems psychologically. They're going to be, they're going to have a lot of issues. Let's put it that way, right? So, right, that's the right thing to do, right? Your kids coming from drugs, and you know what I'm saying? This is, you have to have something. You got to preserve them, right? You heard the judge. She cried. Right? You remember everything you just seen, right? Remember everything you just seen, right? What's good for the goose should be good for the gander. When it's your issue, we have a bleeding heart. Boy, but don't let it be somebody else. Oh, it's your problem, right? Who do you go to? Well, you don't get to go to nobody, right? You just deal with it, right? Huh? Now you have your right. You have your crisis, right? You have a crisis, and you know we'll recognize that. But let's see. All right, it went all the way up there. Why did it go up there? But what about this? What about this? What about when the shoe was on the other foot? You know, a lot of people don't remember that. They kind of throw that back. You know, the Hiroshima Nagasaki of blacks in the United States, when we were going through it. Well, somebody just died tonight, didn't they? When we was going through it, do I have to show you, to remind you? I think I'm going to have to do that. I think I'm going to have to do it. Don't try to not let me play now. Don't do it now. Oh no, what's good for the goose is always good for the gander.
Tucson.
Oh, hold on. Come on. Come on back over here. Let's do it right. Hey, don't doss me up now. Right? Don't turn it up now. Let it play. We sat back and we watched when it's your turn. When was our turn? Where was the outcry? Where was the care? Where's the litigation and getting the fund for them that's gonna come, that we seeing the residuals of it today? See, we see what happened. Well, let me play it first, y'all. Let me play it first. Let me play it first.
There was another warning about cocaine today. Crack now has spread to almost every American city.
It is a problem in Houston, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Tucson, and Sacramento.
We'll wait. I'll wait. I will wait. You gon' see it. You gon' see it. Huh? See, that's the problem here. See, when it's you, it's sympathetic. When it's somebody else, that's your problem, right? Ask him today. Ask him right now if he got where he at right now. Ask him if he could go back right now. Would he change it? Would he change? Would he change? Huh? Let's get it.
Problem in Houston, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Tucson, and Sacramento.
In the 1980s, the media sounded the alarm that a new drug, crack cocaine, was taking over American cities and that it had an especially devastating effect on pregnant women and their newborns.
A new study says that babies born to women who use cocaine during pregnancy are 3 times as likely to be born with birth defects.
They tend to be what we call jittery.
They're very, very high risk for cerebral palsy.
This work. You gonna get this work. You gonna get it. You gonna get this work. It's not me all the way off, because you gonna get this work. That's what you just gone at me all the way out, because you gonna get this work. It was good for that goose, got to be good for the gander. I'm gonna keep saying that.
There was another warning about cocaine today. Crack now has spread to almost every American city.
It is a problem in Houston, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Tucson, and Sacramento.
In the 1980s, the media sounded the alarm that a new drug, crack cocaine, was taking over American cities and that it had an especially devastating effect on pregnant women and their newborns.
A new study says that babies born to women who use cocaine during pregnancy are 3 times as likely to be born with birth defects.
They tend to be what we call jittery.
They're very, very high risk. Cerebral palsy, mental retardation. They are prone to hypertension, stroke.
There was another warning about cocaine today.
Crack now has spread to almost every American city.
It is a problem in Houston, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Tucson, and Sacramento.
In the 1980s, the media sounded the alarm that a new drug, crack cocaine, was taking over American cities and that it had an especially devastating effect on pregnant women and their newborns.
A new study says that babies born to women who use cocaine during pregnancy are 3 times as likely to be born with birth defects.
They tend to be what we call jittery.
They're very, very high risk for cerebral palsy, mental retardation. They are prone to hypertension, strokes, and sudden infant death syndrome.
These children, who are the most expensive babies ever born in America, are going to overwhelm every social service delivery system that they come in contact with throughout the rest of their lives.
Drugs take away the dream from every child's heart and replace it with a nightmare.
But were these infants really doomed? Nearly 3 decades later, what is the true legacy of the crack baby era? In the early 1980s, Dr. Ira Chasnoff, a young researcher at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago, decided to study what he saw as a worrisome trend among his pregnant patients who had used cocaine.
Women were coming in and their babies were looking different when they were born. They had higher rates of prematurity and they had higher rates of newborn seizures and other complications.
A lot of the babies exposed to cocaine are quite small. We think that that's related to the use of the drug during pregnancy.
We'd seen effects of alcohol and other substances on children, so we were certainly open to the idea that this was a problem. Cocaine was an epidemic. I think that it was something that the media, it became an exciting thing to talk about.
What you got? What you need? What you got? We call our broadcast 48 Hours on Crack Street.
What you call this a standard crack house? Standard in Mystery Center.
Soon after our paper was published, within days we were getting calls from media all over the country and started hearing the term crack babies.
Spotlight tonight, our investigative series on cocaine kids.
Despite all the warnings, a growing number of babies are being born already addicted to cocaine.
As it got out into the world, it became this phenomenon.
23 babies were born to the cocaine-using women in this study.
Because the problem has appeared so suddenly, there are few reliable statistics.
The number of so-called cocaine babies is growing at an astonishing rate.
The number of babies born addicted has risen more than 500%.
I had lots of people interviewing me.
Dr. Ira Chasnoff of Chicago's Northwestern Memorial Hospital runs the oldest program researching cocaine in the newborn.
It appears that cocaine has just as devastating effect on pregnancy and the newborn as heroin.
Chasnoff told reporters that cocaine exposure was causing some babies to be born with brain damage, and that others were overwhelmed by even simple eye contact with the mother.
These children are not normal in the sense that they're going to be able to enter the classic schoolroom and function in large groups of children.
Other researchers and doctors echoed Chasnoff's conclusions, and a host of seemingly recognizable symptoms took hold.
One of the things that we see about babies who have been exposed to cocaine is they tend to be very tremulous and shaky, very fine kinds of tremors.
We looked to see if we would find the effects that were reported, and we were saying, well, we aren't seeing this.
As Chasnoff's star rose, Dr. Claire Coles was reaching a different, though equally startling, conclusion about crack babies based on her study of infant behavior at Emory University.
The effects didn't seem consistent with the action of the drug itself. Many of the children who were the so-called classic cocaine babies were premature babies. And the symptoms that were seen on the videos, on television, the tremoring arms and all that. That was prematurity. You could have taken any premature baby and gotten the same image. I think that people got very focused on cocaine is the cause of this rather than thinking substance abuse is the cause of this, maternal lifestyle is the cause of this, social issues are the cause of this.
But Coles' findings didn't fit within the narrative of what had become a national scare.
Cocaine. Crack. If you use drugs while you're pregnant, your baby can die.
There's a whole lot of people who feel that if you can just scare people sufficiently about something, that's better than actually telling them the truth about something because that'll prevent them from doing bad things.
The American agenda tonight poses this question. What would you do about pregnant women who use drugs and pass those drugs on to their babies?
By the late 1980s, Chasnoff's findings were being used to justify cases charging pregnant cocaine users as child abusers, drug dealers, and killers.
I was at first stunned and then angry that they would distort the information. That's when I started realizing how a lot of this can be taken out of context and used to bolster any kind of argument.
People may have felt that they were doing the right thing, but I mean, the idea that one would prosecute a pregnant woman and use this kind of not very accurate research to do so is very disturbing.
All right. So I'm giving you both sides to it, right? You got the opioid side where the setting up funds and creating organizations for help and reach out and employment. But when that was going on in the 80s, and they always got if they're going to give you the story, they couldn't give it to you too black. They know there's going to be some sprinkles, right? They were going to show, otherwise, right? They would have to feel some kind of way. But we know the majority of the people who were on that were not white folks. White folks were getting on it later on. But the devastation was a Hiroshima, Nagasaki of the United States that fell in the urban communities where a lot of us came from, right? And we seen the true devastation. That's just a kind of a documentary, right? Well, we got to see that. We got to see the women who were strung out, the kids. And matter of fact, today, what we see the residuals today is the byproducts of that. So here they are doing preventative measures now by knowing that there's going to be some effects. They're setting up now to have funding and programs. But when it was our people, we deal it the best way you can. You are self-medicated, right? Why you think they're out here drinking that lean, smoking that loud, right? All that shit is attributed because, again, when you look at mama and daddy, you don't know them from when they were younger. You don't know them when they was younger. They got wild. You got wild. They was wild too, right? You don't know what they were doing and what mama might have been doing. Sometimes they don't tell you shit, right? And let's just say, if that was then, let's say if that was from 80, 82, 85, we in 2018, we talking about 30 years ago, right? So we are generation or two, right? Done passed since then. And we can see the residuals of the crazy shit that we see today. And then, did you notice that the study was in Chicago? Oh yeah, there was major numbers in Chicago, like in Los Angeles and other places. I'm not downplaying other places, Washington. I'm talking about the chocolate cities. There were chocolate cities at that time, right? Devastation. Lot of loss of life from those who were trying to make the money off of it, to those who was using it, to those who was born from it. Where's the court cases and set up of funds for that era? Oh, because that was street. But we knew that when Gary Webb came out with Dark Alliance, said where it came from. But again, you can't do that because that's just okay, when you say government, that they change every 4 years, right? There's elections, so the same one who might have been then ain't there now. So who do you go to? Who do we recoup? We don't get nothing. Just deal with it. It's in your genes now, right? It can be. They say trauma can be transferred, right? Trauma can be transferred from generation to generation. So here's the people who've been through the greatest atrocity ever to happen in this country to a people, then go through the greatest disenfranchisement that ever been happened to a people, right? There's a whole lot of number ones we got. We the eighth wonders of the world. They wondering how the fuck are we still here with any kind of mind, huh? The shit that's been done to us, but woe is you when something happened to you. Huh? Woe is you. So let me give you the second part to that. Let me look out here. Let me see who in there. I'm running people away. I'm sorry, one person ran away, huh? Only one, huh? Who else up in here? Oh, I got some folks. I got some fam in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, they pissed me off. I had to come out tonight. Okay, I know CDG still in here. I know that Leonard DeYuta's still in the house. Lorenzo Williams was good, brother. I see Kabir in the house. I see Indigenous King in the house. And that looks like that's about it. All right, I'm going to keep going. I got a little bit more to go because I got to balance it out. Right? I got to balance it. So, I'll read them when I come back, y'all. So again, let's look at the other half to that. Cause see, the way that if you notice in that video, and I'm just assuming that it played enough that everybody was able to see it. Cause I got to go back later and watch the replay. Then I know when it didn't play, so I make sure I end up coming back if it don't clear up. So if you notice, the theme was, if they kind of put in that was, well, people had said hypothetically that these children, based on this substance, would have these kind of disabilities and effects, but we didn't have no real studies to know if that's true or not, right? That was a theme. But here you is now, 2018, going through your crisis, and you say, we're doing preventive measures because we understand that there's going to be some things that's going to hinder the development of these seeds. So we're going to put everything in place right now for those who may bear the weight and those who may be the odds that they didn't have the tremendous effect of. That's commendable as a people. We get that. But we're trying to say, when you look on the other side, we can see the cause and effects to this day. See, some people say, we talk about something. We got so many things. Okay, pull a card. Like, somebody said, do a magic trick. You get a 52 card deck, and I say, I turn the card back and say, pick a card, any card. You pick any card. We got something for anything you want to pull. We got something for it. You ain't got to talk about slavery. That's the greatest one. That's the big joke in the pack, right? That's the one you can't. That's why you can't deal with it. That's too big. That's a big deal. It trumps everything, right? We got too many cards to play, right? So if we even just talk about this, and this is modern, a lot of us are still affected by family-wise, so forth. They're still prevalent too. That was a bomb to try to knock us the fuck out, because you know who they was going after, right? Them was the children after the 60s. That's who they was going after. Let's keep that shit 100. They were trying to knock them out. And that's what you got today, right? Because, okay, Generation X, and then you had the ones that come behind Generation X. So just imagine how strong if you didn't break that chain. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, how strong. You're seeing the fervency and a lot of mothers firing and want to fight and all that other stuff, but it has its place. But we say if you didn't break that connect go all the way through, if it didn't get cracked, what happens? we resolve a lot of these issues that we're dealing with right now. That would have been already done. They would have been done with because the move was being made, right? So let me give you the second part to this, because they had to give you this part to try to offset the fact that, say, yeah, they was on crack, and then they said, well, the reason why they were tremoring stuff is because if you take any premature baby, that's gonna happen. It has nothing to do with the crack. It was not really the crack, right? You know, again, deflective. Not going to accept what's been done. We got to get away from it because, again, we're going to make it's something natural in you the way you're fucked up like that. It has nothing to do with cause and effects. It's your own. This is just biologically in you, right? So let me get the second part to this other part you just seen. And it ain't as long as that one. This one's actually real short. Second part too. Oh, wait a minute. I think I already did it, right? Let's see. Hold on. You go back in your place up here. Okay. So let me go ahead and play this and come back.
Toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them. But educators suspect that tens of thousands of crack kids are in kindergartens in inner cities, in suburbia, even in small-town America.
It now threatens to create an entirely new underclass of
Y'all catch who y'all seen in that picture? Did you see who was in that picture? Rewind.
As the prosecutions continued, crack babies grew to toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them.
I'll wait. You gonna get this work. You gonna get it. You gonna get it. I'm here on this planet just for this. That's what I'm here to do. Everybody act like they forgot it. Most people try to act like it ain't had no effect. This is where our problem of modern time is coming from.
Very disturbing.
As the prosecutions continued, crack babies grew to toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them. But educators suspect that tens of thousands of crack kids are in kindergartens in inner cities, in suburbia, even in small-town America.
It now threatens to create an entirely new underclass of children unable to care for themselves, of infants born to suffer.
In the United States this year, at least 100,000
Very disturbing.
As the prosecutions continued, crack babies grew to toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them. But educators suspect that tens of thousands of crack kids are in kindergartens in inner cities, in suburbia, even in small-town America.
It now threatens to create an entirely new underclass of children.
babies.
You're gonna get this. I'm gonna if I gotta rewind it all night, I'm gonna do it. You see who was in there?
Very disturbing.
As the prosecutions continued, crack babies grew to toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them. But educators suspect that tens of thousands of crack kids are in kindergartens in inner cities, in suburbia, even in small-town America.
It now threatens to create an entirely new underclass of children unable to care for themselves, of infants born to suffer.
That's me? Y'all think that's me doing it, right? That ain't me. You know where it's coming from. He's sitting right up in here doing it. Again.
Very disturbing.
As the prosecutions continued, crack babies grew to toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them. But educators suspect that tens of thousands of crack kids are in kindergartens in inner cities, in suburbia, even in small-town America.
It now threatens to create an entirely new underclass of children unable to care for themselves, of infants born to suffer.
In the United States this year, at least 100,000 crack babies will be born. Today, the government said it will cost $5 billion a year to care for such babies, and money doesn't begin to tell the whole story.
I'm supposed to be a victim of that crack. Mentally unstable. I wasn't supposed to reach the point where
It's the most hated show in the black corner. I'ma say that again. This is the most hated channel in the black corner. You seeing it live. You can think I'm bullshitting you or not. You seeing it live. You seeing it live in effect. Try it again. Try it again.
Very disturbing.
As the prosecutions continued, crack babies grew to toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them. But educators suspect that tens of thousands of crack kids are in kindergartens in inner cities, in suburbia, even in small-town America.
It now threatens to create an entirely new underclass of children unable to care for themselves, of infants born to suffer.
In the United States this year, at least 100,000 crack babies will be born. Today, the government said it will cost $5 billion a year to care for such babies, and money doesn't begin to tell the whole story.
I'm supposed to be a victim of that crack era. I was supposed to be disruptive, mentally unstable. I wasn't supposed to reach
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see what y'all talking about here. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this, right? You see it with your own eyes. Huh? So it's one of the motherfuckers in here. It's one of the motherfuckers who's in here doing that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Right? I'm at the almost 2:30 mark. Right? So let me see what y'all talking about. I'll put on pause for a minute, y'all. They gonna get this work. They gonna get that work. Don't like seeing yourself. Like Dracula. Don't like seeing yourself. But you love telling somebody how fucked up they is. You love telling them they ain't shit. I can show you cause and effects, goddammit. I can show you cause and effects. See, some people been around, they done got so kundalai, they don't want to attribute nothing, they don't want to talk about nothing, they don't want to act like that, they ain't telling you nothing, They want to act like that there was a figure of our imagination that just kind of blew over, didn't have no. That is the greatest cause of our modern problem to this day. You talk about how hip hop changed, well, I guess where it came from. Where it changed from? Where did it live? How did the West Coast get in and everything he talked about? Remember, if you think about hip hop going in from the 80s, transforming from Sugar Hill Gang to the hip hop to the hippie, then it got conscious. But you know what? When it was conscious, they had people out there talking about they didn't like the music. They had people protesting the music, all because there was some sound coming from out the West saying a bitch is a bitch and all that other shit, but you try to blanket all the shit, so it killed that off too. And then what they end up staying, right? Now again, I'm just saying that's what happened. But it was attributed to this here, this shit here that they promoting with this here was the big funding underneath. This is where you get your street shit from. But they don't want you to talk about this shit because again, this ain't that old. We talk about that way back. But this here, this is immediate. This is you could touch. You could put somebody out from here. Try it one more time. You don't like seeing it. You don't like seeing themselves. You don't like seeing themselves. But you want everybody sympathetic to you. But when we went through that, you ain't get no shit. No shit. Locking women, like they showed you, locking women up for being users and being pregnant and saying child abuse and all that shit. But then we just see the story and the parent died, had the needle in the arm and taking it, bringing it, I had to work to get the smell out of this shit and all this shit. And sympathetic. Nobody going to jail. We're going to give them a Narcan. We're going to give them all this shit. Methadone to get them all. We're going to give them all. When we was going through that shit, deal with it. Deal with it. Right.
As the prosecutions continued, crack babies grew to toddlers.
No one knows how many there are, or even how best to identify them. But educators suspect that tens of thousands of crack kids are in kindergartens in inner cities, in suburbia, even in small-town America.
It now threatens to create an entirely new underclass of children unable to care for themselves, of infants born to suffer.
In the United States this year, at least 100,000 crack babies will be born. Today, the government said it will cost $5 billion a year to care for such babies, and money doesn't begin to tell the whole story.
I'm supposed to be a victim of that crack era. I was supposed to be disruptive, mentally unstable. I wasn't supposed to reach the point where I deformities in children, and in myself I didn't see any of those things, so it would be easy for me to believe that science doesn't hold true.
Almost 3 decades since Chasnoff's initial research, which focused on just 23 babies, long-term studies have found only subtle changes in the brains of cocaine-exposed research subjects like Stone.
There's no particular evidence of this social emotional deficit. You're not seeing really broad-scale, severe developmental problems as was predicted. The schools have not been overwhelmed by the flood of cocaine-exposed children.
In fact, Stone became the first in her family to graduate from college.
In learning that I had been exposed, I kind of told myself I'm not going to make this an issue. whatever I have to do to get around the effects may be, I'll do that.
The paper was a very preliminary kind of finding, and it really shouldn't have been generalized to the extent it was, which I believe that Dr. Chasnoff eventually came to himself and said that he felt that this didn't really represent the whole of the situation.
Doctor, let's go to you on this question. You've studied this, perhaps one of the first people to study this. How does cocaine use affect newborns?
Well, there's no question that cocaine use during pregnancy has some real effects on the unborn and on the newborn child. But these effects are not devastating and can be addressed through treatment for the pregnant woman and for the child.
Over time, Chasnoff did distance himself from some of the extreme pronouncements he was quoted as making in the early days.
I probably talked too much or gave long-winded explanations which were completely cut out. It was one of those feelings where you just feel completely out of control.
But the hysteria that followed his initial research had already taken its toll.
It wasn't even a natural disaster or war. It was a drug that caused so much harm among my generation and my parents' generation.
Certainly cocaine was contributing to this problem, but they got very focused on it as the only sole cause of it. I think people still believe the cocaine story, but alcohol is much more of a problem than cocaine because there's much more alcohol used and it has much more severe effects.
They become throwaway children.
I think if you say something 3 times out loud, people take it as fact. And also, I think there's certain ideas that people want to believe that really fit in with cultural stereotypes, and it's hard to get rid of those.
It's called melanin. It's called melanin. And what those drugs do to us makes it more potent and made it harder for us to get off because of melanin, which they call junk DNA, right? They said it was junk DNA, junk science, but yet they have the conferences every 4 years studying it, trying to figure out how to come up with the magic elixir to give to themselves, right? So here it is, in one breath he said this, he said, well, he jumped out the window talking about, well, the devastation that's going to come from it. But there was no real science behind it. It was just the projection of him just stating. But we can see, those who are around there, you can see, we know. We think some of this stuff that we see today, this is like a second generation of that. What do you think, we don't see it? What they call it, ADHD? Child can't sit down, can't be done. We just see the influx of people coming in. And then, wait a minute, hold before I go there. Did you see how they try to downplay that shit by talking about some damn cocaine? Cocaine. No. That's part of the ingredients, right? It was on something else. It had sometimes something to it, right? It was more potent than that, more addictive than that, just like what's happening with this opioid, right? So now, when you put it on the scale and you look at the devastation, see, what about repairing that? And then once we understand and trail the money and trail the trace of how I got it and what, don't we get something for that? No, we don't get nothing for that, right? We're going to keep, and you have some people out here who keep putting it on black people. Our problem is our own. No, we just been a guinea pig for people's shit for a long time here. We've been a guinea pig. But everybody want to act like that ain't true. It's a figment of your imagination. You just want to be playing the victim. You want to play the race card. So what about this here? Oh yeah, I'm gonna switch the speeds like Bruce Lee riding a Fuji in the movie. That's what I'm about to do. Okay, so what about this here? Let me do this here. Let me do this right quick. All right, let's see if they're gonna let this get off. Cause we almost at the end, y'all. We just about at the end, right? Kind of late. I know it's Friday. Catch y'all till I got back doing what y'all was doing. So, check this out. We're gonna switch the speed. We're gonna say, okay, now here we know what's going on here. Let's see if our family. Let's see if what's going on over here. Is that too? Is this? Well, let's see. Let me show it first. Let me show it.
The current Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, is the most severe in the country's history, with 319 confirmed and probable cases, according to the Health Ministry. Congo has suffered 10 Ebola outbreaks since the virus was discovered near the eponymous Ebola River in 1976. This Friday, November 9, 2018, the results of the Ebola epidemic in the North Kivu and Ituri provinces have just surpassed the first epidemic in history, which occurred in 1976 in Yambuku in the Nkweta province. At this point, 319 cases, 198 deaths have been registered. In view of these figures, my thoughts and my prayers go to the hundreds of families grieving, to the hundreds of orphans, and the families which have been wiped out. The confirmation of new cases has accelerated in the last month, and an emergency committee of the World Health Organization experts said in October that the outbreak was likely to worsen significantly unless the response was stepped up.
They used to play football on this field, but there's no time for games in Beni. The city has a public health emergency on its hands. The Ebola outbreak has swept through this part of Congo, and the community's only treatment centre is overwhelmed. So NGO MSF is going to build another one in a week.
The current treatment center is overrun. They've been adding capacity every week. They went from 40 beds to 50 to 60, and I don't think anyone really expected that things would move this quickly in Beni. So what we're doing right now is really trying to play catch up with the epidemic.
Last month, officials said this outbreak was almost over, but their confidence was misplaced. Instead, it will soon rank as this country's worst Ebola epidemic, with a multinational team now struggling to contain it. This is a really difficult area to operate in. The city is overpopulated, hosting tens of thousands displaced by war. And the local population is wary. They just don't trust anything the government says or does. We joined a decontamination team as they searched for a house on the city's eastern side. A woman who lived in this outbuilding has been diagnosed with Ebola, and team members have come to sanitize or destroy her things. Her husband now worries he has it too.
Mie ndio nilikuwa nagusa mgonjwa, kugusa mgonjwa niko nasikia tu FM mule mtumbo. Vile vinyoka ndani viko napiga tu, mimi nasema hii tena sitakia nikaukia na mimi.
Tomorrow, another group will turn up with an experimental vaccine, and the entire neighbourhood, including Mr. Mackenzie, will be asked to take it. The vaccine is administered by special teams who track down people who've had contact with Ebola victims, then administer the dose. It hasn't been approved by the health authorities, but early trials show it's effective. Still, there are many here who have refused it.
Ils marginalisent beaucoup les vaccins. Il y a beaucoup de dit que les vaccins, si tu prends les vaccins, ça va te rendre stérile, ça va te tuer, ça va te faire ceci, ça a beaucoup d'effets et tout.
That's one reason why this outbreak is so unpredictable. Some even claim the vaccine is satanic. Some of your neighbors have said no.
No,
it's the
it's
work
satanic.
of the devil.
Yeah.
Really, that's
Those people, they are come to kill us. Can't receive
the people with the vaccine.
Yeah, it's satanic.
That's quite
frightening. That's quite scary that people think that.
There's another reason why this outbreak is so difficult to control. Beni is in a war zone. The Congolese army has dug itself in on the city's outskirts after frequent incursions by rebel militias. The head of the World Health Organization says he's never dealt with an epidemic so complex.
The situation where we have this outbreak is very different from previous outbreaks, even the West Africa outbreak, because there is a serious security problem here. There is armed conflict here, active, and that complicates the situation.
The risk is clear. In a desperately unstable environment, the Ebola virus spreads, and the Beni outbreak becomes an international epidemic. John Sparks, Sky News, in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Countries. The health agency is now raising the travel alert to the highest level, 3, for the first time since the SARS epidemic. And the CDC is flooding the zone with 50 more workers to help fight Ebola.
It's not going to be quick, it's not going to be easy, but we know what to do.
The CDC warns it could take at least 3 to 6 months in the best case scenario before the outbreak is contained. The situation becoming more urgent for the 2 American aid workers stricken with Ebola. Dr. Ken Brantley fighting for his life, his condition worsening. His organization Samaritan's Purse hailing his selflessness, saying he turned down the one available dose of experimental serum so it can be given to his fellow aid worker Nancy Wrightball. Wrightball's friend telling CNN he remains hopeful the serum will help.
She seemed to be quite stable, resting quietly, and then later in the day her condition seems to have worsened a bit. And then we got this latest news about this serum. So we continue to pray.
In the U.S., officials are discussing how and when to medevac the 2 back to America. This Gulfstream jet outfitted with an isolation pod could be used to transport someone with an infectious disease like Ebola. With the deadly virus only a plane ride away, the U.S. is prepared for the worst. The country has 20 existing quarantine centers at these international airports and border crossings. Hospitals in the U.S., like this one in D.C., have been put on high alert. And if a patient walks in exhibiting any flu-like symptoms and has recently been to West Africa, they will immediately be put into an isolation room like this. The room is sealed off. Access to the patient is extremely restricted. The room is also equipped with a special ventilation system, though Ebola is not spread through the air.
If we get that history of coming from West Africa, our antenna's going to go up. Think about Ebola.
The doctors and nurses treating the Ebola patient would suit up. An impermeable gown, masks, and gloves. But the aid workers in West Africa with Ebola were also wearing protective gear. How they were able to contract the deadly disease remains a mystery. A stark reminder to healthcare workers on the front lines of this widening epidemic.
So you got on the continent, right? Ebola done raised his head again. Outbreak, the movie, right? But it's kind of funny when you think about it. I mean, not funny because of what people going through. Funny as to how that goes, which is you seen with that doctor who gave his serum when he caught it, he gave it to his nurse. And they end up doing what? Flying them back to the United States and going to the CDC in Atlanta, right? Yeah, do y'all remember that? Yeah, y'all remember that, right? So I'm thinking, okay, y'all was already over there before, and y'all had that then. What serum did you use? Because you got a result. Matter of fact, for y'all who forgot, let me show you that. Let's see what happened when he got done. Let's see what happened. Y'all might have forgot about that. Let me show y'all.
I'm thrilled to be alive, to be well, and to be reunited with my family. As a medical missionary, I never imagined myself in this position. When my family and I moved to Liberia last October to begin a 2-year term working with Samaritan's Purse, Ebola was not on the radar. After taking Amber and our children to the airport to return to the States on Sunday morning, July 20th, I poured myself into my work even more than before. Transferring patients to our new, bigger isolation unit, training and orienting new staff, and working with our human resources officer to fill our staffing needs. 3 days later, on Wednesday, July 23rd, I woke up feeling under the weather. And then my life took an unexpected turn as I was diagnosed with Ebola virus disease. As I lay in my bed in Liberia for the following 9 days, getting sicker and weaker each day, I prayed that God would help me be faithful even in my illness. And I prayed that in my life or in my death, that He would be glorified. I did not know then, but have learned since, that there were thousands, maybe even millions of people around the world praying for me throughout that week, and even still today. And I've heard story after story of how this situation has impacted the lives of individuals around the globe, both among my friends and family, and also among complete strangers. I cannot thank you enough for your prayers and your support. But what I can tell you is that I serve a faithful God who answers prayers. Above all, I am forever thankful to God for sparing my life, and I'm glad for any attention my sickness has attracted to the plight of West Africa in the midst of this epidemic. Please continue to pray for Liberia and the people of West Africa, and encourage those in positions of leadership and influence to do everything possible to bring this Ebola outbreak to an end.
Touching. Very touching. All right? Pray. Look like the movie Outbreak. Look like Morgan Freeman went in the closet and gave you the serum. Huh? Huh? Is that what happened? I seen the movie Outbreak. I remember when Dustin Hoffman, his wife got it, right? Or his girlfriend got it. And he went to Morgan Freeman. Give me the goddamn files, huh? He went in the closet, gave him the vial. He went and gave it. So we talking about praying and went to, huh? Yeah, I had the serum already. Right? You had the serum. Wait a minute, you got sick with Ebola, flew to the CDC, come out and do a press conference, and it was a miracle. Miraculous because people prayed. But what about the serum y'all got that cured you? What about that? So that serum that you had to cure you, how come that ain't hit over to the west coast of Africa? How come you ain't wiped it out yet? I say Satan appears like the light. Acts like he the light. Shame, boy. Shame. Alright, let me go ahead a couple more. Let me get up out of here. Done held y'all too long. Held you way too long. Let's see what I got. Oh, let's see. Let's see what everybody got to see. Let's see. Other hand. 60 to know all the drugs placed in the hoods. Okay. Just look at that. Okay, a couple people done left out. Okay. Yeah, they was in here. There was ones in here doing all that, flooding the damn shit. You see, when it got to Mr. CDC, it was no stagnation. It played good. You couldn't tell you. They ran your ass up out of here, right? That's okay. Now, let me go ahead and finish up and get up out of here because I didn't want to do 3 hours, but it's okay. It's for the edification. Let me see what I got here. because I had to go play that so many times over and over. Got off what I was gonna do. Let me just check this right quick, and then we should be at the end of the show, probably right at 3 minutes. Let's see what this is. It threw me off my square for a second, but me going all this rewind, not off my square, but just off the program, right? Let's see what this is here. Okay, yeah, oh yeah, this is perfect. Check this one out. Now, again, as I just showed a little, from our country back to the continent, there's something that's going on, and people don't really want to face and say, you know what I'm saying, they don't want to be responsible for what done took place, and they kind of say, well, that was somebody else. Well, look at this article I came across today. Look at this article I came across today. Want to see it? Here you go. You know I'm going to read that again. Reparations for slavery are not about punishing children for parents' sin. This story was done November 30th, 2018 by The Opinion by Julian Bagani. And this is how the story reads. Justice requires a good memory on that it is both accurate and not self-serving, selective, but whether it is well served by a long memory is more contentious. We know that many still pay the price for sins previous generations never paid for, but most agree with the biblical principle of Ezekiel 18:20 that the son shall not bear the iniquities of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquities of the son. How does justice square the demand of redress and innocence of the only people left who can meet them? Recently, the trend seems to be for societies and organizations to accept more responsibility for actions done by long-gone leaders and functionaries. Glasgow University has just completed a 2-year review of how it benefit from the slave trade, and as a result has committed to a reparative justice program. The Dutch National Railway Company, Nederlands Spoorwegen, has decided to pay compensation to survivors and relatives of those it transported to Nazi death camps, earning itself $2.2 million in today's money. South Korea's Supreme Court has also ordered Mitsubishi to compensate its citizens forced to work in the Japanese company factories during the Second World War. No one could deny that in each case, what initially happened was very wrong indeed. But many do think that punishing people today for something they didn't do contravenes the basic principle of not placing the sins of the parents on the child. But this is not what most reparative justice requires. The point is not that the current custodians of the fruit of exploitive are wicked and need to be punished. They simply need to acknowledge that they do not have the rights of ownership they assumed they had. For example, if you buy stolen goods believing they are legitimate, you would not expect to be able to keep them if their true ownership were discovered. Similarly, Mitsubishi, NS, and Glasgow University all find themselves owing riches that were ill-gotten, and so are obliged to try to do something about that, even if those who lose out in this transfer of resources are blameless. Their loss is arguably a lesser injustice than giving the victims nothing. Some also balk at the way in which claims of reparative justice seem to attribute collective responsibility, lumping together the innocent and the guilty. This falls or this fails to see the collective and individual guilt are quite distinct. Individual guilt requires direct responsibility. Collective guilt does not. Accepting collective responsibility requires no more than acknowledging that you belong to and benefit from a group that has done something wrong. In seeking to remedy that, you need not take on any individual responsibility for the original action, only for what should now be done about it. For example, if I inherit a painting stolen by the Nazis, I'm not responsible for the initial crime, but I am responsible for making sure it is returned to its rightful owner. It's not good protesting that we cannot judge previous generations by today's standard. We're not. All we're doing is making sure that people today do not suffer for actions that fail to meet moral standards we now see are important. Another point of contention is who should be compensated. In the cases of Mitsubishi and NS, there are still survivors who could be paid, but to whom should any reparations of slavery be given? If the descendants of slaves were now on average as well off as anyone else, this would be a good question, but they are evidently not. There are plenty of good uses that could be made of reparations to further the causes of equal opportunities for people of African and Caribbean descent. This would not require handing over money to individuals, just as collective guilt does not entail individual guilt. Collective suffering does not always require alleviation of individual suffering. The specific case of Glasgow University, Mitsubishi, and NS are, however, only the tip of this moral iceberg. We know that there are far from exceptional cases, as a lot of societal inequalities and injustice is inherited from those whose gains were to various degrees ill-earned. As a society, we have barely begun to address this seriously. Not so long ago, socialists who kept the issues on their agenda were dismissed as promoting the politics of envy. The distorted property market, in which only the old of the rich can afford homes, has put intergenerational justice back into the spotlight. It's time we release that housing is just one small part of a much larger problem. So, reparation for slavery is not about punishing the children for the parents' sin. Again, trying to deflect it. We weren't there. We didn't do it. But you, like an insurance policy, are the beneficiaries of the right? You have an insurance policy, somebody becomes their beneficiary, you get to inherit whatever somebody left. So I guess you get everything. Now you could take Ezekiel and says that, but then somebody also can go into the scriptures and find that those who hate God to the first, to the fourth, to the fifth generation and so forth. If you want to go with the book and say that, right? So again, 52 cards in my hand, pick a card. You know what I'm saying? You could pick any card and I could get some reparations or be repaired, but I think it's too big. It's kind of like when Obama got in and they were talking about the $777 million or $1 billion they had to give the bank because they said the banks was too big to fail. Well, we too big to pay, right? It's too big to pay, and because of the long prolonging of not addressing it, you can't even fuck with the interest. You couldn't even give us no interest on it. So you're going to carry the guilt because it's too big. And then but if you just talking about back then, there's been stuff that happened after that. Ever since that happened to after emancipation and Jim Crow and all, there's been stuff, and then we're getting citizenship in about 52 years. Again, remember the score is 242 to 53, right? So you to the point that it's like, okay, it's so the big is too big. You can't even put a number on it. You can't put a number on it. To the fact that now maybe on this last story, I know if y'all up, you might have heard this one. When I read it, I was like, well, damn, I ain't here. But it didn't happen here. I'm just give you this to answer this. See, because you prolong so long that you can't do nothing to remedy it because you can't do it. So the other plan must be some of the stuff we've seen. You got to magically, like Lucky Charm, magically delicious disappear. Somehow they're going to make you disappear, right? That's the only way this can happen, right? But something happened, y'all. Something happened to set this off, to let somebody know. Here, we didn't hear it. What are you talking about, Mr. Blow Your Mind? Well, I saved this one for the last. This is going to be the culmination of the whole show. This one here was done, and I'm going to leave it to your interpretation of what you think it was about. You want to hear it? Want to see it? Here you go. Nobody knows why the earth just rang like a bell? You know I'm going to say that again. Nobody knows why the earth just rang like a bell. This story was done November 29th, 2018. And this is how it reads. Seismic sensors first picked up the event originated between Madagascar and Africa. Then, alarm bells started ringing as far away as Chile, New Zealand, and Canada. Hawaii, almost exactly on the other side of the planet, also picked up the event. Nobody knows what it was. Meteorite? Submarine volcano? Nuclear tests? I don't think I've seen anything like it. National Geographic reports. Columbia University seismologist Goran Eskram is saying it doesn't mean that in the end the cause of them is that exotic. At the center of the mystery is the tiny island of Mayotte, positioned about halfway between Africa and Madagascar. Has been subjected to a swarm of earthquakes since May. Most have been minor, but the biggest on May 8th was the largest in the island's recorded history, topping at a magnitude of 5.8. But the earthquake swarm had been in decline before the mysterious ringing was detected earlier this month. Eskram, who specializes in unusual earthquakes, points out much about the November 11th event was weird. It was as though the planet rang like a bell, maintaining a low-frequency monotone as it spread. Earthquakes, by their very nature, usually register a short, sharp cracks. As tension in the earth crust suddenly released, pulses of clearly identifiable seismic waves radiate outward from where the slippage occurs. The first signal is called a primary wave, high-frequency compression waves that radiate in bunches. Then comes a secondary wave. These high-frequency waves tend to wiggle more. Only then comes the surface waves. These slow, deep rumbles tend to linger and can circle the earth several times. The November 11th event is notable in that no primary or secondary waves were detected. All that registered was the deep, resonant surface wave, and it didn't rumble as an earthquake surface was tend to. Instead, it maintained a much cleaner, almost musical frequency. National Geographic reports the French Geological Survey suspect a new volcano may be developing off the coast of Mayotte. While the island was created by volcanic activity, it has been dormant for more than 4,000 years. The French believe the weird ringing may have been generated by a movement of magma some 30 miles off the coast and deep underwater. This is supported by GPS sensors detecting that Mayotte has moved some 2 inches to the southeast less than 5 months. But it is a poorly mapped region. Exactly what's beneath the ocean can only be guessed at. Estron believes the unusual pure signal could have been caused by magma sloshing about inside a chamber or being forced through a gap in surface rock. But he's not certain. Of course he wasn't certain. Because it was a sound that went around, but over here didn't hear it. It went to Canada, went to Hawaii. It was in South America, but it didn't touch here. The alarm was sound. The time is coming. You know what I'm saying? I leave it to your own interpretation. Let you go look it up. Go look around. You see what people talk about. People saying prophecy. Yeah, people saying prophecy. I don't know. I'm just saying. Again, as a news outlet, I bring certain things that some people won't even touch. As a matter of fact, I'll even read it for you, right? So, I guess I'm going to leave that for your interpretation. I'm not going to tell you nothing more than what I just said, right? But you take it for what something happened. Something set off, right? But they ain't not going to get it because they're not into that. That's why you as this spiritual being, you go see what you interpret, what you think that is, and what that's about. Well, let me go read some comments out here before we get up out of here because I'm already at the 3-hour mark. A lot longer than I thought. It looked like I think covered everything so far. Let's see. Let me go back a little bit here. Okay, let's see. He said bird first. All right, so I'm gonna go back from Yahya Abdul Kabir. What's up, guys? What's up, babe? They said the bird face. Are you talking about? The one with the baby, holding the baby? Yeah, I peeped that too. Digital King. They always digging up some shit. The more they dig, the blacker the planet gets. But they hide real truth. Let them keep on digging up shit. They're going to find something they're going to wish they hadn't. Yeah, you right about that shit. I think that also, too, them fucking around playing that DNA shit. Like they talk about that Shroud of Turin, right? The thing they talk about that Jesus they had rap with Jesus, the Jesus they talk about, right? I think they try to take they're going to try to get the DNA blood and try to recreate. You know what I'm saying? Try to clone back. That's what I'm thinking really going to fuck up. But they're going to clone some shit you weren't supposed to be fucking with. And what was the name of that movie? Wasn't there a movie like that it was like Genghis Khan. I think motherfucker did that shit, and then Genghis Khan came back and shit. Nigga was Canada. They had to try to get his ass back in. Well, you ain't gonna be able to get motherfucker back in. That kind of shit. But you right. Now keep digging up. You gonna dig up some shit. You gonna do some shit science way, digging up one of the two. Digits King said, "What goes around comes around." No, that's right. And again, that's why it has to be shown. Cause see, sometimes when we talk that. They be like, yeah. But see, they see it, right? That's fact proof, right? It ain't me just talking it. I give you the visual, I give you the story, and I just give you my take on it. You don't have to like my take. That's just mine. Again, my opinion. Like they say, assholes, we all got one. But I give you lay it down so you can't deny that that's what it is, right? We don't got the institutions to create that. That's all you. The thing is, they know a lot of us is not looking at that. So that's what makes this channel different. Is because I go out there every day. I read all day, man. You know what I'm saying? When I get time, I'm reading all day. So I'm seeing stories. So when I come in, that's what I'm doing. I come in, I say, I'm going to put this to that, I'm going to put this to that. So ain't too many people doing it. They doing all this other shit, this celebrity shit. Now, again, don't get me wrong, I look at that shit sometimes too. But let me tell you something. Everybody know we at a war. We know that shit. We know motherfuckers doing shit. So if we ain't paying attention, you know what I'm saying? They say like a thief in the night, sneak up on your ass, right? So at least we a little bit, vigilant, right? We don't know exactly, but we see, and that's the whole thing about it. You got to be able to see. So you right about that, Indigenous King. You don't feel sorry for them. Crack babies ain't got no trust funds, CDG, right? Exactly. Well, that's my argument. Here they is talking about how they setting up for those who affected today with this opioid, and they was all, and I cried when I seen the baby was. Well, what about in the 80s? Would you cry in there? Oh no, you couldn't relate. And then, matter of fact, you had George Bush who died tonight, right? Seeing him holding the baby like he cared, right? Like I was saying. If we could come back for a second, right now, if we can come back, if we change it, too late now, right? Too late now. Too late now. They didn't have no mercy on our babies. Indigenous King. Chicken coming home to roost, Renzo Williams. So right. 1985. That's right. Man, tell you, boy, them 80s, boy. They breed them 90s. The 80 breeded the 90s. Get money. That's why, that's really kind of the mantra today. Well, everybody talking about getting my money. Stop about that 90s. Think about getting the money. Ain't nothing wrong with getting your money to take care of family and bills and all that stuff. But everything, all your focus is on that. That game, they control that, right? You can stack your paper to your ceiling. And then this motherfucker come and then he'll devalue the motherfucker. You be like Weimar in Germany, wheelbarrow, a whole lot of motherfucking paper just to buy a loaf of bread. That's the kind of motherfucker these motherfuckers is, right? They'll fluctuate the game. They control the value of the shit, right? It's kind of like I think somebody said about paying reparation. Do I think that if they did it in credit? I'm like, well, what would be the fucking difference? You still couldn't pay it. You know what I'm saying? They still couldn't pay it. And credit's just like some digits. Again, they say no intrinsic value with the dollar, right? It's not backed by anything. It's just the paper and just the fact that these motherfuckers got guns and stick your ass up if you don't pay them. That's what is backed by. The dollar is backed by a military. Niggas will come in your shit. But other countries, they got silver or gold, right, backed by it. But they just got guns behind their shit, right? So, so with that being said, shit, they do any motherfucking thing with that bullshit. But, but I'm just saying, the money's part about to get money, it has its value, but that can't be the all be all. Because they'll flip the game on us. They always flip the game. They doing the shit right now. They making it, if you got children now, man, if they ain't on where this shit turning now, they ain't gonna make no difference. Kind of like some of them now, like if you got children, let's say if you got children, they a little older, they in their 20s and shit. Out here, they don't know, got no directions. They don't know. They ain't got, like, say if you came up at a certain time where Burger King and all that shit, McDonald's was for the high schoolers. That's where they went to work at. They didn't work. Grown folks didn't work in no motherfucking McDonald's and Burger King. That's where you get your entry, learning how to work and shit like that. But because the shit got fucked up the way it is, you got grown folk, grandma, mama, and the son and daughter all working at them places. Because, you know what I'm saying? They'll change the game up on you. The education ain't... Okay, you can have a diploma. We got a lot of people who got diploma but can't get no work. And I thought that education was about liberation to be self-sufficient with but no, our people get the paper and say, Master, can you please give me a job? You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We get the paper and we talking about getting a job. We don't be getting because we still don't have no generational wealth. That's what I'm saying. This whole shit about reparating us paying. As a matter of fact, even when they was giving out land, right? But go back when they was doing the Homestead Act. But you let us out from slavery, and then you gonna talk about, well, you giving out land, but our people didn't even have money to file for the damn application. That's why man, that's what I say. Man, pick a card. Pick a motherfucking card. That's all I'm gonna say. Pick a motherfucking card. ADHD, yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying. Where do you think they came from with that from? Talking about you can't sit down, it can't be still. I guess so. When you say it was jittery, right? And the baby was jittery, right? And then you in there bullshit anyway, bored as fuck anyway in that damn school. Y'all who might have been around a little bit, shit, I remember when being in kindergarten and the first thing you used to see was all the white motherfuckers around across the ceiling. Remember that shit, the presidents and shit. And here you is, about 5 years old, and you see all these white motherfuckers, they already programming you early. They put it in you day one, putting it in your head. Looking up, and they white, the old white men. And give us one Obama, and motherfuckers crying and shit. Shit, again, we got 1 to 242. And he ain't even one of us. Fuck all that bullshit. I don't give him that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend nobody who might be. That nigga ain't one of us. Nigga was from Hawaii. Father was an African. Nigga ain't cut from here. Real talk. While on the other hand, the 60s and no ISD and other drugs, or LSD and other drugs placed in the again. You know what I'm saying? All that shit was, again, we was guinea pigs, man. We was the guinea pigs of this shit. The whole MAA or the AMA, American Medical Association, was built on us. Them experimenting on us and shit. That's what I'm saying. Pick a card. We got so much shit we could come at them with to get a check. So if anybody getting SSI, you get in, like that, like I did the other day about that. Did y'all see the story I did the other day? It was kind of a fuck news day. It wasn't really shit. But it was the one about the bank. Remember, we went to the brother and sister were going to the bank and shit, and it was dispensing, instead of tens, it was giving hundreds. And word got out, and everybody was like, "Hey, come up and give hundreds." They called every nigga they knew they had an ATM card, and the line got long and shit. He come the police ass, talking about y'all can't get no money. Like, it's your money, get your ass. If you don't get, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. That whole shit, man. They been flooding us and guinea pigging our ass to the fact that it's like. They know they guilty for that shit, but they just don't want you to say shit about it. We seeing the residuals of this shit. Some of us, okay, we fight again. You know, we not as dysfunctional as others. You know what I'm saying? We got some residual. I mean, again, we ain't perfect, right? But you know what I'm saying? Some people a lot more dysfunctional than others because again, they don't have anybody, you know, to set them straight or anybody they respect. Because again, you had some motherfuckers that was, we talking about this 85. You had motherfuckers who was selling to somebody mama and doing mama, and so how could they respect when they were seeing all that? So this became that wedge how not respecting came in, right? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So we, you know, so for those who kind of got through that Hiroshima, Nagasaki, whether you didn't sell it or, you know, you didn't use it and you kind of went through and kind of, we the kind of where we at today. This is the reason why some of us here to this day, because we got around that shit. But there was a lot of casualties in that war. A lot of casualties. But, you know, but again, whatever happened with that sound that went off, that bell that went off, that seismic ring that went off, that's some sign of some shit or something. So I'm just going to be focusing on that as the stories keep breaking. So I want to thank everybody who came out tonight, man. I'm glad y'all came to show some love and stayed through the end. Hit that like, dislike, comment, saying shit. You know how I say it. You know, I'll be back on tomorrow. I got, you know, I'm trying to come on every day. You know, because news going on all day and I'm reading all the time. So I got shit. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm just trying to find a better time. Tonight, they pissed me off because they had me. That's how hard it was for me to get on tonight. But again, I'm gonna say, love fam, Digitus, y'all, Lorenzo, CDG, Kabir. Who else in here that I didn't see? Ebony. All y'all, I got love for y'all. So again, thank y'all for staying, coming out. Peace, love, and hair grease with watermelon, right? CDG. So we're gonna close it out tonight, man. But again, I appreciate y'all being here. I'm actually going at the end up. Oh, I got another announcement I'm gonna do too, because I may be end up, because they're not letting me get out this corner, right? So what I may end up doing, I got another channel. So I may end up trying to use that one. Let me see. I gotta put it out there to see what these motherfuckers really doing. If they're really blocking me or not. See, I'm kind of putting it in the air, but I don't give a fuck. And I'll tell y'all that one, so you'll be looking for it, because that one, you know what I'm saying, I want to see them get out this corner. Because ever since I did the white extinction, them motherfuckers like, fuck that. They were like, fuck that. No, no more of that. And that's why a lot of y'all came from off the white extinction. I stopped doing those because they wouldn't let me get that. They kept banning it. Man, do you know how many videos I had blocked worldwide? Think about this. They blocked my shit worldwide. I got at least, I got a lot of them that they banned worldwide. I couldn't even download. They went, some download was banned worldwide. Like, what the fuck? So that's why I'm live. They fuck it. I'm just gonna come on live. So get it for how you can get it until they finally just take me off of here. But I'll tell you about that new one. And like I said, y'all, thanks y'all for coming out. Peace, love, and all that good shit. Till next show, y'all.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember.
And it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they died for. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, Good News, the chariot is
While you sit here today, knowing to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. And they was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. Coons are coming. You have to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 ones before me. 3, 4. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 ones before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to You can't make me do anything like tricks!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we're not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil. Because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate you. You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. If you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man, get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true. I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel that deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, "Brother Greg, you coming by today?" And I said, "Malcolm, I love you." And I said, "I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there." He said, "What do you mean, Brother Greg?" I said, "Well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East." And I said, "But I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I had way beneath my salary booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.